Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello there.
Sean Bell.
Hiya.
And James Farley.
Hello.
We would like to thank our Patreon producers this month. They are Alan M. Nash, Aaron Patrick, and Anthony Oakenson. They went
Triple A,
full
mate.
Nels.
Triple A.
Yeah. If you would like to go full Nels, then go to patreon.com/TCGS. There are several different tiers there. If you want your name read out at the start of the show, then it's the Live in It tier that you want to go for, I think. I call it full Nels. Why don't you? But there's other ones. You can get a free podcast and hear us talk about the Sonic movie this month.
Hang on, free? It's the opposite of free. This is the free podcast.
This is the free pass, isn't it?
It's the freebie and you get a free podcast.
It's like that PS Plus thing, isn't it? What the free games this week? You fucking pay for them. But you've got access to our bonus show, and not only do you get access to this month's bonus show, you get access to the backlog as well, don't you, Matt?
You get every one of them.
Yeah, and there's been some good ones. So, you can sign up for that. You can get our Talks Over series a little bit early. So, get onto patreon.com/TCGS. Right, should we get on with the show?
Yeah.
You weren't here, David, last week, so I presume we have notes.
Yeah, well, only a couple, actually. Very, very good show last week. I enjoyed it a lot. I've got a couple of things. The first being James naming his Animal Crossing town. Was that the weirdest thing of all time?
Yeah, it's really strange.
Was that the weirdest thing of all time? That might be the weirdest thing of all time.
Yeah.
And not only that, I don't want to criticise you too much because I thought it was an excellent show. You really should have fucking drilled him on that. You let him go way too easily.
It was one of those, it was too weird. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to step back.
Well, let's see how weird it gets. Okay. James, what do you name your towns?
Look, okay, I don't see why I should have to reveal this information because no, think about it, right? You know, I don't like people knowing the names of locations for things. You know, because we had the whole thing about where I live and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so everyone knows the town you live in, though, so it's more specific than that, isn't it? It's like the name of a road or something.
No one's going to go to the town that you have created in your little animal game, James. It's not.
Well, they
this
will.
Isn't.
Because, I've got plans for this, and it's like, I don't see why I have to talk about this.
Fuck knows. Right, I'll tell you why you have to talk about this, right? Do you remember when we first met?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you remember how no one really knew who you were or whatever? And then I sort of said, do you know what? I'm going to make something of this guy, yeah? And here you are today, yeah? Like, living life, yeah? People know who you are. You can tweet and people reply because they care. And that's because of me. So I'm telling you now, you need to tell us what you name your towns and why it's weird.
No, because it's not weird. It's just, I don't see why I have to give this information.
Meat, cut him off. Get him, ban him from the Discord. This is it.
Oh no, the Discord is always in.
I
find out
and I
anyway.
can taketh away, James. Oh, yes, we will find out, so you might as well tell us.
No, because it's nothing, though. This is the thing.
Just
It's
tell us
absolutely
then.
nothing.
Hang on. So
Right,
what's the issue? Is it because it gives away like further detail about where you actually live, or is it just
James,
because
is it your security number to back of your credit card?
No, it's nothing like that.
And your mother's maiden name. First pet.
It's nothing
But
like
James,
that.
right,
It's just
I
I
love the
used to
fact
go
that
on
you're
holiday
going-
when I was a kid. And it's just...
Right, that's fine. So it's called Magaluf. Who cares? It's
called Shagaloof, that's fine.
James, are you worried that people are going to go back in time and find you? Ruin your holiday.
Your family holidays. I love the fact that you went, why are you all finding this weird? I mean, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It didn't sound like no big deal last week when you just went, I don't want to say. I don't
like being put on the spot for personal information.
How big's your dick?
Yeah, well, if you were watching the stream on the VR stream the other night, you probably would have found out because there was just constant
Because you
questions
told
about
everyone?
that.
That's a bit weird. Why would I have found out?
Hang
That's
on.
just bizarre.
Constant questions about that. It was
Well,
one
and you
annoying.
So you
answered
just
it.
told them.
Just to shut them up.
Did you get a tape measure out?
It was you anyway, David. I know it was.
It wasn't, mate.
It definitely was you, because you're the only one who asks stupid questions like that all the time.
It is funny hearing that text-to-speech go, put the coin up your bum. Like, I don't know why, but I had tears in my eyes. And while we're watching it, Sean and I are texting each other about how funny it is. It's just, that stuff is just so good. But seriously, what's the name of your town?
Okay, the name is Redmire. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Absolutely
So
nothing.
Why did you get so weird about it?
Because I just don't like being suddenly put on the spot like that. That's why.
Can't believe he calls it Redmire. What a loser.
What an idiot.
Okay.
There he is,
So the next one I've
Redmire.
got. There was an interesting chat about how good Matt got at Sekiro. And you said,
Where?
Sean, you were talking about your streams, and Sean said, do you know what was really surprising is that everyone was saying you were really going to struggle with the last bosses, and you flew through them. And I'd never take that away from Matt. He absolutely smashed the end of that game. But I do think it needs to be noted that he played a lot of that game off stream.
That's true.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
practice.
So
yeah, of
you're
course.
there thinking it. Why? It only took him 2 streams to do the last
No,
boss.
but like there were people
No.
saying, was it like the owl guy or whatever? Everyone's like, oh, this took me like a month. And Matt, like even accounting for like offline practice, that was like what, a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, but
so-
he did about a month's
Actually,
worth
I've
of
got a
gaming in
question
those
about
2 weeks.
this. Matt, how
Yeah.
often do you do this? Because I saw today, like you'd booted up, the Switch, what's it called, the virtual console thing. Were you practicing Metroid now?
No.
what,
You're not
today?
playing Metro.
Yeah.
No, I think I've probably turned on when I put my room back together. I haven't had time to play a game tonight.
Okay.
I just why I am surprised at that stance from you, then, Matt. I thought the whole point was that you stream it all. Like, why don't you? I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I don't know enough about streaming.
You
But
should because I was in my head thinking it's going to be 16 hours on the final boss, and I'm like, I don't mind, but it's going to be hell for other people. So I said I'll just practice a bit offline and make it easier for everyone. I mean,
Isn't that part of it? Like, I
but
don't
people
know.
saying the
I'm
last two
not,
bosses
like-
were going to take me way longer than like the previous 4. It's like it's going to get to a point where I'm like, this is going to be hell.
Matt,
So I'll just practice a bit.
That
It was only
video
last week anyway.
that video that you had at the end of the Twitch, was that a pre-record?
The what say?
Was it a pre-record?
Yeah, I did that 6 months ago. This is-
like, I'm not saying that what you did is wrong because I don't know enough about streaming or anything like that. It's just in my head, all that practice and you getting battered constantly. But that's part of it, isn't it? I just assumed that's part of the
It was
journey.
only like a few days before the other stream. I didn't. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it's not the first. It's not the only time you've done it.
no, but it's just.
I see what you're saying, Dave, but then when you see how much Matt gets fucking moaned at when he's failing to do a boss,
And like everyone's saying, look, practice in a week. We're not going to see. We're not going to be fucked to see you do this. For 16 hours. So,
Yeah.
so I'll practice a bit. So
I should have done that. I
sound
should have done that with the
horrific, I
door
must
in
admit.
heavy rain.
I think I've just been fortunate. I haven't streamed for a while, but every time I've streamed, I mean, I said it on the last one that I did. It's the chill out stream. Like, I get none of that shit. I think I've just been lucky, or I'm not playing a game that people are like insanely passionate about, or whatever. People just seem like really chilled out, and they just start talking about anything. So yeah, maybe that'll
yeah, but
help.
if you've got an easier game, it's just easier to get through it, and it's much more relaxed. But people
I
have
guess.
opinions on other
Shenmue
games.
is fucking boring though. Guys, 3 is fucking awful. It's I've had several times where during the day, like my days have been heavy recently, right? And there's been several times during the day where I'm like, right, tonight I'm going to get back to streaming. I'm going to put Shenmue on when I get in. And then by the time I get home and I've done the, washing up and cooked and put the kids to bed and all that sort of shit, I sit there in front of the computer and I just think, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can load up and see that bloke's face again and watch him chop wood again. And I don't know if I can. And by the time that thought process is finished, I'm already halfway through a game of Rocket League and then I'm done. So it's like, yeah, I'm finding it really hard to go back to Shenmue 3. I'm sort of tempted to tap out and try something else. Would you hate me, James?
No, I completely
No,
understand.
how far are you into it?
Mate, I must... How far am I into it, James? I'm at the bit... There's the thugs that you... It's like the first barrier where you've really got to train to build up. You know the thugs down the road in, like, the third area?
Hang on, have you left the village yet?
No.
Okay, you've got ages to go.
Yeah, no,
like, seriously,
I mean,
ages.
I don't know if I can face that.
I mean,
why am I
it's-
doing it? It started off as a joke. and now here I am, three
You can't
games
tap out
in.
like 2.5 games into the series, surely.
Why not?
I'll just do what you want, mate.
And that was it. That's all I had for notes. That was all the feedback I had. What were the listeners saying, Matt?
We got a surprising amount of feedback about Sonic, our Sonic chat, which actually, listening back, I thought was all right. And actually, after, I think Sean mentioned at the time that Sonic Utopia, I watched a video for that in a week. It looks bloody brilliant. Did you watch it, James?
Really does.
James, did you watch
I
it?
didn't see it. No.
Oh, yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good. Hopefully, any more developed to that. Anyway, Phil at Baron_Phil on Twitter. Hello, gents. On the back of the Sonic game chat last week, the 2D Sonic games aren't really about going fast. Sean mentioned that the only way to really get the speed into 3D Sonic games is to take control away from the player to avoid needing lightning reflexes. That is exactly how it is done in the old 2D games. You would only go fast, in inverted commas, once or twice in each level. And you only need to be holding right or hitting a series of springs and have no control. The rest of the level was just slow platforming. The gotta go fast idea feels like a marketing gimmick that was never really how the games are set up. Also, 2D Sonic games give you 10 minutes to complete each level. 2D Mario games usually only give you 5 minutes. So ironically, it's Mario that's got to go fast and Sonic can take his sweet ass time. There's a couple more bits, but I'll go on. Have you got thoughts on that?
That's all true, but someone should then tell Sonic Team that. Because they never seem to realise that, because all those 3D games they delivered were dreadful, mostly because they focused on trying to make things really, really fast all the time to the detriment of the gameplay.
Yeah.
It's right though. Mario does feel like, when you're screaming through like a Mario level, because you do the little speed run bits, don't you? Like where you know a level really well, so you try and blitz through it. Like you get that rush about going fast more than you do when you play Sonic. Because the problem that I've found with Sonic games, I loved them when I was a kid. When I grew up, it felt like I never really properly understood them, because I'd be like zooming forward really, really quickly, and then you just stop. Yeah. And then he gets hit and the rings go everywhere and you're like, okay. It just...
But that's not your lack of comprehension. That's just what they're like. I think it's... And like you say, it's the reason there's almost more of a sensation of speed with a Mario game is because it's you actively making decisions. Like any speed you get is of your own making. Whereas, like as Phil points out, actually most of the fast bits in a Sonic game are just essentially automated. So they're cool to watch, but you're not engaged while you're doing it,
yeah, totally.
So yeah. Plus, like in terms
how
of
do you change that? Like, how do you change that? Because there are really fast games that feel amazing to play. Like you get that rush. Say, F-Zero, racing games, Trackmania and stuff like that. You get that rush and that intensity. How do they get that? If speed is like the main thing that they need to go for, and let's face it, it pretty much is. How do they get that across in a platform? It's fucking almost impossible, isn't it?
It needs to be a massive open world, surely.
Well, I was going to say,
that's exactly what the Sonic Utopia is. Yeah. It looks almost like Jet Set Radio and Sonic, like looking, and also maybe also a bit of Tony Hawk's, especially in that video I've seen. Like, it's about like it's seeing a massive open world in front of you, seeing where you can go, which loops you can go on, how does going on that loop mean you can go over to this part of the map. Yeah, and like that Sonic Utopia is basically what I would want from a Sonic game. It's well worth watching that video.
Yeah, it's the sort. It looks like the sort of thing where, as you say, Matt, like because you've got this quite wide view of everything around you, you can sort of get an idea of the layout of the level and like figure out lines effectively, like a skating game or whatever. Because you're looking at it and thinking, well, like right, if I can get a run up down here, I can jump this far, land into this ramp here, and run off that, and like. Yeah, it sort of encourages that sort of thinking. But like you say, it's all like fucking massive. So yeah, you're running around really fast. And you get that sensation of speed, but you're not constantly like hitting things.
No. And I guess unlike Tony Hawk's, where you got like a limited area, this is basically like a massive funnel you're going down.
Yeah.
But it's I think people in the comments are saying that Sega or whoever it is now needs to buy this or get the developer, get a guy on board. It's like this will be such a refreshing, interesting. A direction for Sonic if they were to nail it, and even that video alone looks good.
Yeah, this is like England and the World Cup, though, isn't it?
I mean, they are going to win the Euros this year, Dave. So I don't know.
Exactly. You say to yourself
Actually,
at the end of every World
60,000
Cup,
injuries. So.
we're never like we're never going to win it. We're never going to win it. A couple of years later, another major tournament. Do you know what? I think we got a fucking chance this year. I've said that my whole life, right? And it's like that with Sonic. Because if they said, yeah, we've hired this Sonic Utopia developer and they're going to work on the new Sonic and it's going to be open world, it's going to be like this, and you'll go, fucking hell, is Sonic going to be good? Is Sonic going to be good? And then it comes out, you're like, no.
I mean, what else have they got to lose? Like, the alternative is just to put out another shit game. Also, the previous game they put out, Sonic Mania, they brought in someone from the community who was already doing good stuff.
Yep.
So they've got a track record. They can do it
The
again.
thing is also how much do they really care? Because those 3D ones still sell loads. Like, people still buy them because there is that. I'm not going to say it, but there's a fan base there. Like for Sonic games that will just buy them.
And now more because of the movie. Like, it makes sense to really double down on the games now. There's a bit more of an audience, I think. Like, a new generation of people will be finding out who or what Sonic is because they've seen the movie. Like, LG didn't know who Sonic was before.
Harry's going nuts about Sonic at the moment.
And imagine there's a good Sonic game out now. You and Harry would play it and buy it and play it, wouldn't you?
Well, we're going to have to play Sonic Generations because it's on Games with Gold this month. So we'll
Sonic
be playing
Forces.
that.
I think it's Sonic Forces, yeah. It's cool. It's the one where you can make your own Sonic character, Dave.
Yeah, but that's PS Plus. I haven't got PS Plus.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, no, you're fine. Don't worry, I'm not that offended.
I'll just go, mate. All right, I'll
Yeah, in fact, you should just leave the podcast now.
Yeah.
Can you go, if you are going to go, can you go fast, please? Right. Okay. Let's.
Nice.
Yes.
Rex
Reese mentioned what you mentioned, saying surely the answer for Sonic having their Mario 64 mode is to team up with the Trackmania team. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That'd be really good. That'd be really good.
100 Sonics racing against each other. Yeah.
No. I mean, I like Sonic R. I mentioned that in the last one. Did you had a Saturn? Did you have Sonic R, Dave?
Of course I did. Yeah,
great,
it wasn't very good. Man.
I liked it.
It wasn't very good. I
I
think
liked it just like I like Sega touring cars, which was basically like handling a box. The driving model was terrible, but it's like, it's a racing game on a Sega platform.
I am 100% with you. I loved it at the time because it was Mario. It was Mario. No, it wasn't. It was Sonic. Oh my God, Sonic, and he's running. This is as good as any Mario Kart game.
I never said that.
No, I'm pretty sure I said that at some point. But you live and learn, don't you? You live and learn.
Yeah, Sonic R2, we need it. Anyway, Leon, a good playable fast 3D Sonic. Why not implement a Max Payne style bullet time mechanic, perhaps even combined with arcade racer style 2-second rewind feature? They could do a perfectly acceptable time travel plot around such mechanics.
They could actually, and that wouldn't be a bad idea because they did loads of that in the film as well, didn't they? Like just slowing time down. And
really? But surely the whole point is getting a sensation of speed. So surely bullet time
do it like
goes...
Super Hot. Do it like Super Hot. You do the whole level, and then boom, it shows you in real
And
time.
then you sit.
I think this works because, as we've said already in this podcast, and I can't believe we've been talking about this for 15 minutes. Is the issue with Sonic games is you go really fast, and then suddenly you get hit on spikes and you lose your rings. So if you could negate that by seeing
I suppose so it's like the game is really. Yeah, so if the game is really fast, but then you're like, oh shit, there's an obstacle, you can go bullet time and then go dodge around it and then carry on, right? Is that what you...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
that might work, yeah.
Basically what I'm saying is I don't think any other podcast has talked about Sonic games as much as we have in the last 2 weeks.
I don't know, Matt, it's been a dry start to the year. It's been dry.
I'm sure there's also a bunch of like Sonic only pods that you can probably download.
Yeah, probably.
I'll be honest
give
with
them a
you.
swerve.
I got to tell you, Eurogamer put out a podcast last week about the Sonic movie.
Oh, really?
And it's just, honestly, I don't think they should let fully grown adults review that movie. It just gets me angry. It really does. I just, like, James, you always make this point, and 9 times out of 10 you're bang on. Kids' movies can be good, right? Like, just because they're a kids' movie, it's not an excuse for it being a bad movie. But I do think there's still room for a kids movie that is solely aimed at kids that adults just won't like.
Yeah, sure.
And I think Sonic is a great example of that. That if you look at it as an adult if you go and watch that film on your own or stick it on while you're in your front room on your own, you will go, what was that shit? But when you're watching it with kids and you see how much they're enjoying it, and you can overlook that shit and just get down to, actually, these are really good jokes for kids and this is making them very happy. So I see what's going on here.
I'll tell you what, though, Dave, I also heard that podcast and I did quite like the backtracking that the person who'd reviewed it did, which was quite funny. Because, you know, like...
What do you mean?
Because, you know, like, obviously, this has actually ended up to be quite a lot more popular than I think people thought it was going to be. And he kept on saying, like, repeatedly, like, it was the screening I was in, you know, it was the screening I was in, and this kind of thing, which kind of gives the impression...
I think that helps, though. No, I think that does... I think that can definitely make a difference, because you're very conscious of the people around you, aren't you? And if there's no one reacting to the film...
Well, he said he was in there with a load of film critics who were obviously not...
that does not help. If I was like PR for that film and a bunch of film critics was going to go and see it, I would hire children to go. I'd invite a bunch of kids as well, because our cinema was absolutely cracking up and people were going crazy. So it was, I suppose it might be down to the environment as well, you know. Anyway, you're absolutely right, Matt. We talked about Sonic for way too long. It's 2020. What are we doing? Let's go on to the next.
This is why we're number one, mate. This is the sort of thing. This is what sets us out.
You don't get a shit anywhere else.
Where are we number one?
In my heart.
In people's hearts, yeah.
That's right. I forgot about them hearts. Go on.
But people are talking about, obviously, James's Animal Crossing town. Most people thought, actually, James, you just called it Canterbury, which is the place you live. But now we know it's Redmire.
Say it again.
Canterbury. My time traveling Redmire. My time traveling dog. Sorry, Sean. Flushable wipes aren't flushable, and they need to go in the bin as well. It's an outrage, and manufacturers are allowed to call them flushable. They might as well. They might be not as bad as wet wipes, but they're still a massive problem. Last week we said, "Look, Sean is the monster. We know what we're doing here," and now we have to backtrack. So Sean,
you're still clogging up the pipes, then, Sean.
Absolutely, mate.
Can I say this, Sean? Right, I was listening last week, and you were talking about your flushable wipes and stuff, and I was in my head going, I thought flushable wipes are actually bullshit and that they actually still fuck up your shit. But then I thought, no, that's not Sean. Sean would know, like he'd go, oh no, they've changed it now.
He wouldn't make this mistake
now. So yeah.
You just, advertising standards and everything, you just assume if something says...
Yeah, that is bad, though,
if someone makes a claim like that. Apparently, I'm really sorry, I forgot who it was that tweeted me about this, but so Waitro's own wet wipes, apparently the first to get some proper accreditation for being flushable.
And you're a Waitrose man, aren't you?
I am a Waitrose man, so that's it. I'll be switching.
Just thought, sod that. I'm going to buy the cheap ones and fuck up the environment. Yeah. Unbelievable.
They are £26 a wipe, though.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with Waitrose, isn't it?
It's well worth it.
Expensive shit, isn't it?
See, that was funny because I was thinking, well, yeah, I don't do that. No, I don't get flushable wipes and flush them down the toilets. I put them in a plastic bag and then put that in some Tupperware and then chuck it in a landfill. Yeah, no. So I got no excuse. But what are you going to do?
Just use toilet paper like most people. And I still haven't used a wipe, by the way. It's been in the house 2 weeks now. Still haven't used a wipe.
Oh, come on, man. Treat yourself.
You've definitely got a shitty arsehole.
Yeah.
So,
well, Andrew Rice, Andy Man 949. Last week talked about Pixar films and kids films. Mine aside, Planes was Disney Toon. Don't tarnish Pixar with that. You know,
I didn't know that.
They know they screwed up Cars too, and that's bad enough already. Yeah. So I don't know who Disney Toon are. I assume it's just Disney's version of
another
Pixar.
spin-off.
Yeah, because they started making their own 3D animated films, and I don't know if Disney Toon are separate from their stuff. Like Frozen is Disney, isn't it?
I assume it must be the same company. Sure, well, who knows?
You assume what?
Well, I assume Disney Toon is just like the name for like Disney. Disney
anything they do with animation.
Yeah.
But they've done some good stuff as well. I mean, definitely Frozen. That was. Frozen. It wasn't Zootopia Disney as well.
Yeah, it was.
Was that Disney? Oh, okay.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, which is a fucking fantastic film. That.
Yeah, that was good.
It might be true. Who the fuck knows?
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? But also, planes and cars. That's like aren't they all shit? Like, I mean, I genuinely love those sort of films. So like. No, I didn't really. Cars
isn't good, man, because it's the
Cars one's great. Cars 1 is great.
Didn't like the characters. Didn't like the story. Fuck them. Fuck Cars.
It's not.
Fuck
It's not up
Cars.
to the standard of other Pixar films, but Cars 1 is great. And people, there was that thing that, everyone was saying that it was. It's not the worst, is it? Cars 2, absolutely appalling. Like,
Really?
you will not hear me. Cars 2 is shocking.
It
Cars
just feels
3
like
isn't that
Cars-
great either.
Whoa. There's a third Cars film.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
there
yeah.
Oh,
is.
for fuck.
We
It just
stopped
feels
talking
like-
about Cars.
No,
We've
fuck
already
off,
done
James.
Sonic
It just
for
feels
20
like
minutes.
Cars and Planes are a series where like no one's bothered about it, but Disney will keep pushing it until it's a thing.
No, kids love the original Cars. The others, not so much. Right.
Okay.
Have you watched any of them yet, James? Because you've not seen Up or Inside Out or Wall-E. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, that is
You
insane.
need to get on that.
Yeah.
That's what am I
Pixar calls.
starting with? Cars.
Pixar calls.
No.
Insert coins on Twitter. The cash-strapped listener looking to get into an Xbox may benefit from Xbox All Access. Yeah, we didn't mention it. Didn't actually recommend it, did we? Yeah, smaller monthly payments comes with Game Pass. Is significantly cheaper if bought separately than if bought separately.
Also, you totally misread the email, didn't you? Because you were like, he was saying, should I get an Xbox One X now, or should I get an S and get the Series X when it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah, but go back and listen to what you were saying. Because
Okay.
you
That's
were saying
how I
things like,
interpreted it.
you said get an X. Why get an S if you're not going to get a Series X anyway? So just get an Xbox One X.
No,
Yeah, it was a chance.
we were saying like the leap between the X and the Series X, whatever it is, probably isn't going to be that massive unless you've got like a fucking huge television that. But then we're saying like
so
the X
get
is
an
going
X
to be 4K
and be happy with that. You don't need to get a Series X.
Boys,
And then give the
I
Series
suggest
X a couple
I
of years.
suggest you go back and listen to that
Well,
bit
David,
of
I
the show.
suggest you go back and listen to it.
I listened to it. I did it. I
listened
listened
to it again. Second time.
I will. I
Clean
fucking
your ears
will
out.
then,
Let's do it a third time.
All right,
I think
will.
we nailed the question.
Okay, I will. I'll listen to it again then.
Please do. Come back with your thoughts.
He's going to email in. Thanks for the advice. I've bought an S, and I'm going to get a Series X when it comes out.
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, you read my email out last week. That's what we're doing, right? We're doing the minutes video on Twitter. That's the bet.
I think that
it
is
definitely was the best
perfect,
idea for sure. Yeah.
James, you going? Oh, I don't want to write the script.
I don't.
What is? Well, you. Come on, mate. I'll do it. Did you not think about that?
I did
Did you not think about
but
that?
Yeah, that's,
I will sit down with you and we
Yeah.
will work out what Matt is going to say together.
Okay, yeah, I'm up
Nice.
for this now. That
Right.
sounds like a good
I'm
idea.
up for this because I'm not going to do any work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to win
Matt-
anyway, so it's fine.
Matt, listen, I think he is going to do some work, and I think he is going to be doing some work by reading out your script, if I'm totally honest. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would put
I'm
my
a
money
better
on
man,
you for
and
this
I think
one, Matt.
I think I'm
I think
fine.
you
I'm not
got
worried
this
about
one.
it. Not worried about it.
Dave, you seriously think that the Xbox is going to be cheaper than the PlayStation? Seriously?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I don't think it's going to be by much, but I think they'd want to come in slightly cheaper than PlayStation.
Well, I think they want to come in slightly cheaper than the Xbox.
Okay, well, we'll find out. won't we?
Hunter Dave, so you're on my side, Dave. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what I've been saying for the past 3 minutes, yeah.
I just said I'm not a better man. I just like shut off. Okay.
Okay.
Last bit, Colin Moss Wilson. Is it me, or is there a constant low beeping noise going on in the pod? I can definitely hear one, and now it's all I can pay attention to. Yes, sorry about that, Colin. There was Sean. I think have you turned your phone off this week, Sean?
I've put it like on a shelf several meters away.
Was it definitely your phone, or was it
It's
that
like, it
extension
sounds
cord
kind
you were
of like
talking
phone
about?
interference, right? It's like
Well, no, it only happens when you talk. That's why I couldn't get rid of it.
It's just,
through
it's just what
regular
I sound
editing.
like.
Hang on, is
Do you
it
noise
like...
gate your audio?
Yeah. Well, no, sorry, because there's like that wouldn't work anyway. Because if it only makes the noise when I speak, there'd be no way to remove it, would there?
Well, no. If you noise gate it, like if you say you have to, it has to be over a certain threshold before. This is boring.
Yeah, but that wouldn't
boring
work
podcast
because
chat.
if it only happens when I speak, then I'm already speaking, aren't they? So it would
But
already.
what I'm saying, it might not only happen when you speak, but the noise
Oh,
gate
I
is
see.
chopping out
Sorry,
the bits
right.
in between.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
so I'm
saying.
not gating
Anyway,
it. No.
Colin,
Right,
you
okay.
weren't alone. it was Sean. Sean's made a second apology of the podcast.
Yep.
Well, do you want to apologise, Sean?
I mean, it's not ideal, is it? Yeah, no, sorry. I don't
great
know why
apology.
it started happening. It's just really strange.
Yeah. So Sean, sorry, and we'll get it fixed for this week. Anyway, that's it for feedback. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
Okay, so it's time for the news. But before we get to James's news, we've got a couple of news items to go over regarding the show. To start with, I'm sure you're all expecting a hilarious segment this week where our wives just slate us and we get to hear what they've been saying about us. But unfortunately, that's gone wrong, hasn't it? That's gone wrong. Chen
has
replied to me straight away. Great, I've had that one for weeks. Who are we missing?
James.
Yeah, I haven't got the one for Sean yet. No.
Do you want to explain why?
Well, okay. I emailed Snoo on Saturday.
And what time of day on Saturday, James?
It may have been in the evening, and
May have been gone 10 o'clock at night, yeah?
10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, James.
I just suddenly remembered that I had to do that, and so
From 2 weeks ago.
Yes, because we didn't do it last week, and it slipped my mind. Don't want to get into things about slipping your mind, Dave, because what we've got coming up later, that's just, just...
Okay, yeah, all right, but still, let's not jump the gun. Let's focus on you for
she
now.
did say she'd reply to me before the show, but she hasn't. I mean, I don't want to, to be
hang
fair...
on, so you're throwing new under the bus now? For emailing at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday?
I mean, she does work every other weekend, James, just so you're aware.
She did point that out, and I said, that's fine.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, so
Are we waiting on anyone else? So you've got Jill's then?
I've got Jill's,
Sean.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I spoke to
okay.
Jill, and she said last week or the week before, yeah, I've done it, but it turns out it's just in the drafts, and she hasn't sent it.
Joe said that she had a lot of fun writing my one, so yeah. Oh, did she? Oh, she replied to you, didn't she, Matt? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we will do that next week. I apologise for that, but I've got an even bigger apology to make. So I found out. There's no easy way of saying this, and I feel awful about this, but. I can't even talk about it. That's what's fucking annoying. I've got a family event on the 28th of this month, and I was hopeful that I could do the live show at Resd and then attend, but it is not possible. So unfortunately, I will not be at Resd this year, and I am truly gutted. I looked into it a little bit, and I was originally told that this was happening on the Sunday, so it wasn't an issue, but that since changed, and I wasn't aware of it, and I only just found out, what was it, Saturday I text you guys?
So what you're saying is you weren't entirely paying attention to the plans that are being made around you?
Yep, that's correct.
Happens to everyone, Dave.
Because you said a couple of weeks ago, oh no, it's the 26th isn't the live show. It's like, no, it's the 28th. So they probably said 28th, and you're like, brilliant, don't worry about it. That's 2 days after the Res show.
I mean, I can't. I've got no excuse. I'm sitting here looking at a Luigi costume, Luigi gloves, and a moustache, which shows you how confident I was that I was going to be performing a Licky Boom Boom Star a live show. So yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I'm really, really sorry to anyone that was looking forward to seeing that. But I've got no doubt that it's still going to be an incredible show. Like it's going to make no difference to the quality of that live show. The boys are obviously still going to be doing a live show there, and I will do whatever you need me to do from here.
Well, what we need to do is probably attend Res, Dave.
It would have been nice.
Yeah,
I'd love to, but I can't.
Well, you'd love to, but you didn't read the messages in the WhatsApp group, and then you just also thought it was a different date.
I've had a lot. Well, you've noticed that I haven't been on like WhatsApp anywhere near as often as I have been, like recently, and like Twitter and stuff. It's just my life's a fucking wreck at the moment, and it's no excuse. It's no excuse. I've got no excuse for this. I fucked up big time.
Well, it doesn't need to be an excuse. It just means we're not going to like have a fucking go at you about it.
Yeah, this is shocking.
That's why I'm looking at things, Sean.
When this happened to me, it's like just weeks of abuse. And it's like, you're just palm it off. Look at me, friendly Dave. Oh, I'm really sorry. This kind of thing.
Whoa. Well, two things. Firstly, I apologised, held my hands up, and said I fucked up.
So did I.
You just blamed everyone apart from yourself, right?
That's not true.
That's the first thing. Secondly, I'm not saying you can't abuse me for it. You can absolutely, you could tear into me, James. Go for it.
Not after what you just said, can you? You very carefully, I mean, you've been thinking about this. You worked out how to neutralise the whole thing. It's just ridiculous.
James, that's not what I'm doing. I've had a lot going on, and
There he is again.
unfortunately,
Because that combined with the fact that you can't talk about what the thing is makes it sound like it's something really, like, potentially very
and
exciting.
I just want to be able to tell everyone what this is really about, and I can't. And it's really
know,
annoying.
You can tell them at the live show. It'd be...
I know. That's
you can. You totally can tell them where I am at the live show, and obviously I'll talk about it after the time has passed because it's okay to do so then. Yeah. But I can't say it now. No, I am. I'm true. Apart from like feeling awful about letting you guys down and letting the listeners down or whatever. Again, I don't think the listeners are going to be let down. You guys are going to do an amazing job. 100%. I just feel fucking gutted that I'm not going to be there. I loved Rez. Like, I love... every time we've done these live shows, I fucking loved it. And to not be able to do that is... It's fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I've been really bummed out about it. But also, you know, I feel really bad for letting everyone down. So, I hold my hands up. I'm truly sorry. I'm not going to blame my wife. So that's one thing to consider when you're tweeting me about this.
I mean, I will say, like, obviously, some anxieties about doing the show without you, but it'll be all right. But thank God it's Rezzed and not EGX, right? Not because it's like, you know, the poorer relation, but it's normally a more laid back show anyway. Whereas if last week I was screaming at James from a stage while he was on. Not last week, last year I was screaming at James from a stage while he was on a big screen telly. I don't think it was really that laid back, was it? True, but can you imagine like the three of us having to do the full shouting at everyone because we were just in the big, like the massive hall with everything else?
That would be hard work.
That would not go down well.
It'd be fine.
So it'd be good. I'm still.
I do have a question.
Go on.
Is the yo-yo competition still going ahead?
As far as I'm aware, but James is going to have to MC it.
Imagine not only you pulling out, but also us saying, you know what, we're not doing the yo competition.
James, are you going to be able to MC it?
I'm going to have to, aren't I? I don't know. I'm going to have to watch some videos, like some shout videos.
Don't. Just honestly, just make up trick names as we're doing stuff.
Oh, mate. But also, can you just like? Maybe we should talk about this off the show. Can you just switch it on where you just like completely out of character go ballistic throughout the whole thing, like for the full 30 seconds or whatever? Just go, oh my god! Like it's just like, come on, I want to hear you. All that stuff.
I'll try.
Come on, James. Come on, mate.
Come on, I want to hear you. Go, Matt. Oh, scream.
Come on, cheer the guys on. They're doing a great job.
Cheer the yo-yos.
They're doing their best.
On, you yo-yos.
Also, James, I will the Luigi costume's out because I'll send that over to you. And I'll send you the print out of the lyrics for Licky Boom Boom Down.
I might wear the costume, but there's no way I'm doing any singing.
James, you can do it. James, there's only three of us now. We've got to pull together. So
James,
we have to
got it.
James, Matt, you can sing the song, and I'll wear the costume.
No, James. James, just do it William Shatner style. Just talk through the lyrics.
Boom, boom, down. Sean, have you noticed that I'm the one that's fucked up and we've managed to turn this around on James?
Yeah, come on, James.
This is just...
I'm
so annoyed about
come on,
this.
James. Fucking what are you doing? Are you letting everyone down? Do a look at boom, boom, down.
I'm so annoyed about this. Especially because we can't even say what this is really about. This is killing me.
Well, we will. It'll all come out on the day, mate. It's fine.
It will.
And you have more thought. It's just it's a secret thing, and if the secret thing gets out there, then it's blown. So I can't say anything. But we will do soon. We will do soon. But no, truly, I am very sorry, and I mean that. And
it's a total joke. It's a total joke.
I just feel awful. Okay, so that's my news. What's that?
It's a total joke, isn't it?
Well, I thought you'd be happy about this, Matt.
I mean, well, yeah, it's not the original plan, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, obviously, we'll be fine.
Yeah, but I thought you'd be loving this.
Why would I be loving it?
Well, because you love attention, you love everyone like looking at you, and then when I'm on stage, people just like forget you're there. But now I'm not there. You can stand in the middle of the stage and be like, "I'm the main guy now. Look." You'd be loving that, wouldn't you?
That's what I might do that, yeah. I'm the main guy now, look.
I'll tell you what, that Luigi
With a yo-yo,
that Luigi costume is much more likely to fit Matt than me.
Will it?
Almost certainly.
You'd look better in it.
James, I've got a yo-yo outfit. I can't also put a Luigi outfit on.
Whoa, you got a yo-yo
Yeah,
outfit.
you can't ask Matt to dress up like Luigi
Why not?
because he's doing the yo-yo thing.
Yeah, James, I can't do everything. I'm the main man, yeah? Or whatever Dave just said.
Look at me.
Yeah,
is
look
what
at
you're
me,
supposed
I'm
to
the
say,
main
Matt. You
man.
can't even get the fucking catchphrase right. Jesus.
catchphrase.
Right, okay. Look,
Anyway,
let's get on to the
everyone
news.
listening, don't matter. Basically, if anything, this would probably be great for ticket sales. The golden age of TCGS live
told ya.
2020.
What did I just say? You're just proving me right. I knew you'd be happy about this. I think
Matt.
secretly you'd be loving it.
Matt, you better get some T-shirts on standby.
I'm not made of money. I was thinking about that the other day walking to work. It's like, hang on, I've spent like 600 quid on T-shirts. I can't afford it right now.
Okay. Right. So let's get to the news. James?
So I've got sad news to begin with as well, which is that the creator of the Konami code, Kazuhisa Hashimoto, has died. And,
What's the... I'd not heard this news story. And what's the Konami code?
I don't know it.
come on, you know,
You've
surely
heard of the
you know
Konami code, though.
No, I really don't. No.
You haven't heard of the... Okay.
To be fair, I think a lot of people bang on about it who've never actually played a game that uses it. I think it's one of those things that sort of took on a life of its own, didn't it?
Yeah, it's massive in sort of web development as well. Like loads of websites just have it in because it's like, the Konami code.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so what is it?
So it started off with Gradius in 1986, and what it was it's the code which is like up, down, left, right, BA start.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And the whole point was it powered up your ship and all that. But then they started adding it to other games as well, and that's how it became known as like the Konami code instead. And so he's just died. But it also, I read he also worked on International Superstar Soccer as well.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played his game a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that he's probably very famous for that code or whatever, but then you actually look into his history and he's got a shit ton of bigger things under his belt. So,
Yeah.
it's always really sad. It feels very, very strange, these sort of news stories, because, gaming's not been around. We were there when gaming sort of kicked off in a big way, right? Mm-hmm. Where these known names have come from and stuff. And of course, now it's getting to the time where, we are going to lose like really well known and beloved people from the industry, and it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough because we obviously famous people passing away, they affect you in different ways. You never knew them, but then when you appreciate their work so much, it can affect you in a like a real personal feeling way, can't it? So I don't know if anyone listening was affected in that way by this, but regardless, it's always sad, isn't it?
I always hope whenever there's a story like this, like I just hope that he made peace with being the Konami code guy, right? Because what if he was like sick of getting fucking questions about it, and then in death, it's Konami code creators died.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
he's can't someone ask me about the port I did of the Goonies?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Instead.
Exactly. It's his finest work. I just hope he was proud of it, and that and he wasn't like absolutely sick to fucking death of hearing about it.
Like when Cameron dies and they're all going, the guy that started the whole Brexit thing's dead, and really he's thinking, I did other things. I remember the fucking a pig.
That was good, wasn't it? Like that.
Yeah, you remember that bit?
Let's move on.
Okay, so the other major thing that's happened this week is that the Game Developers Conference has been postponed. They're saying it's postponed to the summer, but whether that it's not going to happen, is it?
No.
But that's what they're saying. But so
Really,
this
you
happened.
don't think that they will do it at a later date?
Well, I think everyone's
later
saying
date.
that. Yeah, I think everyone's saying that coronavirus is going to get worse before it gets better, right? So really, if they don't feel safe doing it now, then summer's not going to be far enough away to make any difference.
Yeah, no.
I think
we'll still be in the thick of it then. So yeah.
The scary thing really is how much money goes into these events and what happens then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hotels, flights, promotional material, and they're not all huge companies going to these events. Some of them are indie developers that can't afford to lose that amount of money and not get the benefits out of being part of these sort of events. Sorry, James, yeah.
On the GamesIndustry.biz podcast, they were talking about this, and they said that there's a lot of smaller developers had talked to them about it and said that they were going to go anyway now because and how now that these massive companies are not going to be there, it may actually be an opportunity for them because there'll be more people to talk to, that kind of thing.
There's no event.
No, I know, but there still will be a lot of people probably that are still going to go because people have made
still be
reservations.
Networking events
people
and stuff.
Yeah, and so they think maybe. I mean, that may be another way of sort of getting around it.
It'd be interesting. It seems to be this coronavirus stuff, and I'm very much of a look at the figures, look at the percentage of people that are do you know what I mean? I'm looking at the figures and thinking this isn't as big a deal as it's being made out in the media and stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember that there is this name attached to it, and it is all over the news. So regardless of how scary you think the actual virus is kind of irrelevant. It's to the point now where people are doing it because it's also a perception thing. It kind of feels like they're not, they sort of had to make this decision. So, I mean, we can all, and I'm not saying any of us have done that, but people could turn their nose up at it and think that they're being overly cautious or they're being silly or whatever, but I totally get it. I totally get it.
No, I think this is the right thing to do, to be honest, at this stage, just to stop, any chance of this, spreading, because when this all, kicked off in Wuhan, when it all began, part of the reason that it spread so quickly is because they didn't lock this stuff down right in the beginning. They just there's a lot of stories about all of this. There was the local government were still giving out tickets to people to go to tourist events and stuff during this because they didn't want to worry people, and then that just made it a lot worse. It's smart to shut these things down when something like this happens. I think, even though obviously this is going to have a massive negative effect for people.
It's worth noting. I don't know if they're the only ones doing it, but Wings, who do, I think it's a funding source for indie developers. You can apply for funding towards making your game and stuff. So they've opened up a fund for basically GDC relief fund.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, for anyone who was going to go and has just lost a shitload of money. Which is cool. I think there's $75,000.
Yeah, that's an incredible thing to do. Yeah,
really nice.
I mean, GDC have also said that people that are going, they're going to receive refunds and stuff. And if people have booked hotels inside GDC, there won't be any penalties or fees or whatever.
Okay,
so I think they're trying to work something out. I mean, Capcom have also cancelled their Street Fighter tournaments that they were running as well. Yeah.
And of course, we had the news stories breaking recently that it will have an effect on production of new hardware.
Yeah,
right. And, I know that in relatively speaking is quite a
not a big deal.
Not a big deal, but it can be. I mean,
there might even be a situation where the new consoles don't come out this year. Where they're delayed because they haven't got enough components or whatever,
and just you watch all the nerds suddenly get really bothered about coronavirus.
Yep.
Thing is, this is cancelled. I mean, E3 is in June. People say it's going to get worse before it gets. Well, no, yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think E3 may be cancelled, and that's who cancelled WWDC. I think it's very possible. I mean, so many thousands of people go to E3. I mean, I think in June, I think this thing will be lasting for the rest of the year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
it's.
Well, some people are saying it might be seasonal, so it might go away as the weather improves, then get worse again next winter. But who knows?
But then there's hotter countries that are where it's still spreading. That's kind of debunked that. And the fact that it's hitting here and it's fucking cold here at the moment. So it's crazy, and it's going to be fascinating to see how the industry deals with it and how it's affected by it. But none of it's going to be good news, is it?
And it's fascinating that it's already causing problems for one of the most online industries going. You would think, out of all the industries around. Surely gamers can just fucking stay indoors, use the internet, who cares? But no, it's like there are events where people gather and things that people do physically move around.
That is one of the things that GDC have said, is that now they're giving speakers the option to contribute the talks in video format.
Okay.
And then they're just going to make them available free online.
Makes
So
sense.
there is that.
I definitely thought they'd go that way.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, imagine if E3 is fully online. I mean, like, Nintendo are going to win, like, because they've already got the online one done. Oh, huge.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, next story is that Plague Inc. Has now been removed from the Chinese App Store because it's been described as being illegal content, like inverted commas. So this, I mean, you remember this, like, Plague Inc. like went right to the top of the App Store, like in China for like some time when all this sort of thing, when the whole coronavirus thing sort of began to kick off. Mm-hmm. But now it says that they've been informed that this is the quote, that the Plague Inc. includes content that is illegal in China as determined by the Cyberspace Administration of China. Although there was no, because the thing is, like, when they say like something is illegal, they don't actually explain what that means.
Yeah, I was about to say, have they quoted a law there? What law?
You just say it's illegal. And it's like, that's all you have to say. So, do you want to hear what Endemic have said? I mean, they said, this situation is completely out of control. It is not clear to us if this removal is linked to the ongoing coronavirus outbreak that China is facing. However, Plague Inc.'s education importance has been repeatedly recognised by organisations like the CDC, and we are currently working with major global health organisations to determine how we can best support their efforts to contain and control the virus. Now, the thing is about that is that's true, and there is maybe part of this is because the main thing with China is they don't like alternative narratives to whatever the government is putting across as to what's going on. I mean, the figures that you get for the coronavirus, whether they're entirely accurate or not, I mean, they're probably about as accurate as their GDP figures are. It's like you can't really tell. But the thing is do you know Daniel Ahmed, the analyst? Have any of you heard of him?
Yeah, he's great on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, so he pointed out that the thing for this, though, is it may not just be about the narrative. It's also the fact that the game was never properly licensed in China anyway. And because it was released, it's like 8 years old, and it was released before there was any licensing requirements anyway. So it's quite easy for them to sort of take it down and say it's illegal because it hasn't passed that. But even more significantly, the game recently had this update called Fake News that they had to it, which allowed like people to create misinformation like within the game, and it's like that's a massive problem with this virus. Is this idea of like misinformation and where things are going. So I'm not sure that was entirely smart, to do that. Like especially with what's going on with with all that at the moment. So, either way, Endemic have come back and they've said that they're working very hard to try and find a way to get the game back into like Chinese players' like hands and everything. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that.
It's a horrible game. I ain't gonna lie. Mm-hmm. I mean, have you played it?
I played it, yeah, ages ago.
I played it, when it first was doing the rounds or whatever. And it just the music, the sound effects, the atmosphere of it is just horrible. It's haunting. Not saying it's a bad game because I spent a lot of time with it, but yeah, I mean it's just horrible, and I can't imagine playing it at the moment. It scared the life out of me. Have you played it, Sean?
I have. It's a brilliantly designed game because it has that whole thing, doesn't it? Of like you can make your virus, like you mutate it in different ways, can't you? As it spreads,
That's right.
But then you you can make it super deadly. But then if it gets too deadly, then people catch on to it too quickly. So what you want is like a virus that's like really virulent, so it spreads like fuck, and then suddenly becomes deadly, and ideally without the symptoms being too obvious. But then it's like, and then you're sort of like, oh man, this is great. I'm going to make the best virus in the world. Oh, millions of people are dying horribly.
Yeah.
And it's me going, I'm so good at this. Like,
yeah, and you hear like kids like singing and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, this is just awful, and that awful music in it, like intentionally awful.
Yeah,
music in it is just like awful. Yeah, man, it really it put chill down my spine.
Mm-hmm. It's what you said. It's like the perfect word for it is haunting. It really is like kind of like that. So I don't know. I mean, when the news first came out, that had done so well, I think part of it was this idea that people were trying to make sense of what was going on because there was so little sort of real information around. But yeah, it's,
I don't know. I think it's more just Oh yeah,
It's
shit. Do you remember that
morbid
game?
curiosity as well.
Well, no, not even that, because it doesn't actually teach you anything, does it? I think it was just people going, oh yeah, that's like that game. Do you remember that game? Oh yeah, I'll download that again and play that for a little bit. It's probably as simple as that.
Yeah, just
I
it's
reckon.
been in the conversation. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's actually sitting there and
Going, fuck yeah, I want to be a virus. It's
Yeah. I think it's just more. It's been a reminder that game exists.
And people do play things. I remember it. Did anyone ever see Reign Over Me? It was that Adam Sandler film that had Shadow of the Colossus in it. I never saw it. But it was the idea was it was like this guy was obsessively playing Shadow of the Colossus. It's about a guy getting over the destruction of the World Trade Center, and it was this idea that by playing Shadow of the Colossus, because it was about massive things falling over, and apparently the people who made the film got the idea because they had I think it was one of their dads used to watch Aliens over and over again, like obsessively, and that was how he dealt with his PTSD from Vietnam. And it was basically this phenomenon of people dealing with things but not, by sort of repeatedly watching something that's not quite the same but similar enough. And it's almost it's just like a way of some people dealing with it being a bit traumatic. It's, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, strange how people work. Right, okay, next story.
Okay, so GOG have got a new refund policy, but they didn't tell the
Thank
devs
God.
about it. Yeah, they didn't tell any
what's
developers
this?
about it, and now they're worried it's going to be abused, or rather, the developers are worried it's going to be abused. So what it is they've changed this. So they announced the change to the refund policy, and they called this a declaration of trust. And before this, like, you got a refund if you hadn't downloaded the game, or if you played it. Or if the game had wouldn't run on your hardware, then you could get a refund. Whereas now they've changed it so that any point during 30 days after you bought it, no strings, they'll just refund you. And yeah, it's so.
Didn't a lot of brick and mortar stores do exactly that?
They did, yeah. Well, Game used to do it, didn't they? Famously,
Or was it
that kind of
2
thing.
weeks? Wasn't it 2 weeks? I don't think it was 30 days, was it?
Yeah. So anyway, do you want to hear what GOG have actually got? So this is the quote. They said, everyone at GOG believes in a gamer's first approach. The latest update to our voluntary refund policy adds another piece to this customer-friendly experience, and it all sums up in one sentence. Starting now, you can get a full refund up to 30 days after purchasing a product, even if you downloaded, launched and played it. That's it. So, I mean, obviously that is really probably good for consumers, but maybe it's not so good for developers.
Well, because isn't everything on GOG DRM free as well?
It's DRM free as well. Yeah.
So what's to stop you just buying whatever you want and then downloading it and then getting a refund and then just carrying on playing it?
I don't know. But
I mean, obviously, by that
because
token, the fact that it's all DRM free means you can definitely find a torrent of whatever you want from GOG, I suppose. So I guess you're already relying on people to just be honest and not be shits. So I guess this is just a slightly further extension of that trust. But I gather, so developers were not consulted about this, which is...
They weren't spoken to. I mean, it's also similar to Steam's one now, isn't it? Because you get 14 days with that, don't you, to request money back?
Yeah, is it 14 days or 2 hours of gameplay?
I think 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
But the thing with the developers, is it seems that there is a sort of a variety of responses to this. Some of them have said they don't think it'll affect them that much, because some people have said it hasn't affected them with Steam either. But then others are like, no, this actually may have big effect on if you're making walking simulators and stuff like that, is even more chance people are going to just get refunds or whatever off them. But then there is the fact quite a few of them said that people do like paying for games, actually, in the idea of they're supporting the developer and everything, and so they're not too worried about that. But yeah, GOG have basically said that they are monitoring the effects of the current update to make sure no one is using this policy to hurt the developers that put their time and heart into making great games, and that they may refuse refunds in such individual cases. So Eurogamer contacted them and asked them, how are you determining this? And they have said that they're checking each case manually, which must, I mean, how many people are going to start doing this?
Yeah, but surely the resource
to
to do that is huge, yeah. It's fascinating because, GOG have always been interesting when it comes to this stuff. because they're based in Poland, and I think was it NoClip did a documentary on them, which is like basically explaining that basically like piracy was absolutely huge in Poland. I think something like their copyright law was basically non-existent until recently or something. So the culture there is like, just fucking steal everything, whatever, who cares? So CD Projekt Red and GOG have always been unusual when it comes to like this sort of thing. So that the fact that everything on GOG is DRM free is completely unthinkable to any other store, and yet they seem to make it work like that. Having that trust in their consumers does presumably pay off. So it's just interesting that this is just another extension of that, but it is bad that they didn't tell any developers. Like they really should have.
Yeah, because I mean, if the refund goes through, it's not going to cost GOG, is it? I mean, they'll lose the profit that they were making on that. But the developers are the ultimate losers out of them refunding everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But then, consumers do have rights to, if they buy a game, surely they have a right to say, fuck me, this is a stinker, I don't want it anymore, I want a refund.
Yeah. But
then doing that in conjunction with DRM-free is dangerous as well. It's a really sticky situation.
Do you need 30 days to decide that you don't like something?
Well, there is that. Yeah, you can definitely just finish a game and just...
Yeah, totally. I mean, how many times do we play games for more than a month?
Very rarely.
It's not often, is it?
Yeah.
It's not often.
And it's fascinating as well, I know we agreed not to put this in the news, but just a brief mention that, so more games are coming off GeForce Now, right? And this includes indie developers who are just like, well, we never gave them fucking permission, so off it goes. And I know, we sort of discussed this on WhatsApp. I think it's maybe cutting off their nose to spite their face a little bit. But I understand the basic principle. They're just like, we weren't fucking asked if this was okay. And it's the principle of like developers should always have the choice over how and where their games are sold. I do sort of get that.
Yeah, but their games are not being sold on GeForce Now.
No, true. They're still being sold via Steam, yeah.
But they're being made available through it, to play, aren't they?
Yeah.
But then they're being made available through various different Windows operating devices. Yeah,
but when they put it for sale, presumably they sign contracts and agreements for where it would be available to play. And did that include being streamed as well? We don't know.
I mean, what I'm saying is that you can stream your Windows PC like around your house using different devices, right? Mm-hmm. There are various different devices that let you beam whatever's on your PC to something in your hands. Yeah. They're not saying, no, I don't want you to do that. They're saying it for GeForce Now. I'd love to know the reasons why. And, like, I get that. I get, this is our game. I think the only legitimate reason that I could think of, I'm not saying the devs are being weird, because they might have legitimate reasons. But the only one that I can really think of is that they don't want their game being streamed full stop, because people might think latency or whatever might be a bad reflection of that game. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I still think this is about login sharing. This is what they're worried about, because the thing is, I mean, we talked about this in the WhatsApp group, and it's like if Sean was to share with me his like Steam library, I still need to buy a computer for that. Like, I still need to buy a PC. I still need to like make that investment, and it is hassle and like expense to do that. Whereas with GeForce Now, you don't even need to do that. You just need the web browser, and so it's much more convenient to like share keys in that sort of
environment. You still need a device to access it. You can't do it through the web. What do you mean? Through the web browser?
Ultimately, you will be able to do it through like whatever device you've got, like that you've got to hand.
So you've still got to buy that device. What's the difference between that and buying a PC?
Yeah, I guess.
And what difference does it make to the developer? Like, if anything, surely something like GeForce Now. I mean, we've seen like the fact that you guys both played Disco Elysium. Like, so that is. But I mean, there might be other games that you will now consider
we got
buying.
codes for them, but
you'd have considered buying it, right?
I was absolutely going to buy it. Yeah. Like, as soon as I found out it was available on something I could play it on. It's
So there's potentially new audiences in it. So
Maybe
Yeah,
someone can
it's a
explain it
strange
to us.
one, isn't it?
Because I'd like to.
Yeah, if anyone's
I
listening
love-
and we're missing something really vital, I'd be really keen to hear about
That's
it.
it. I wish a dev, like, especially in indie dev, I'd wish, like, because if you think it's a big company, you instantly think, well, they're pulling it off there because they want to stream their own games.
Yeah,
and,
they want to sell you
know,
their
that
own
makes sense.
service. Yeah.
But for an indie developer, I would love them to do more than just a tweet about, I've taken my game down from there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love them to go, here's the reasons why, this is why I don't want my game on that service.
Yeah.
And if it is because I feel that I should be asked, then fine. That's that's your view. And
I think it's about money,
of course,
ultimately.
it's your.
I think it's about money.
Sorry?
I think developers don't want their games being used as the content to market another service. And
It's not though.
Well, no, because it is. It's like, I can play all your games. Well, hang on, this is my game. Like, ask or lease it. So let's talk about it rather than just,
Yeah, but no,
but you
people
already would
aren't
have done
paying
through
for the
Steam.
game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People aren't paying for that game there using GeForce Now. They're using it to play it on a different. It's like buying a new PC. Essentially, it's no different from renting a PC to play their game.
Yeah, because
They're
obviously
still buying
the
it on Steam.
dev gets nothing from whatever hardware you're playing on. It shouldn't really make any difference to them. Although, as you say, maybe unless it is just a quality issue and that they don't want people having a potentially subpar experience. But then that could happen if their PC's a piece of shit as well. So
Yeah,
I think if your game
someone
is suddenly on a streaming service, I think there might be tons of things within the game code or how the game is made. Or you just don't want that to be the case, or you want. Basically, I just think that, it basically takes control away from developers. I know they've solved the game already, but it doesn't just mean that their game can be used to do whatever. Like this just means
as Sean says, when you're going into PC development like that, you got to kind of expect that because you don't know what hardware is being used, you don't know what graphics cards are being used, you don't know how shit the system is that it's being played on. There's that element to PC gaming as well. It's hard to really talk about without getting a developer that has made this decision. It might just be a thing of saying, I feel I should have been asked about this and I wasn't, and I'm not happy about it, right? And
I think it's
that.
more.
I think that's
It must be
perfectly
more than just
acceptable.
manners. Like, yes, it'd be lovely to ask, but it must be more than just that.
But you'd think that their game being introduced to a new audience that weren't able to access their game in the past would be a good thing for them. But again, we're not developers. We don't know. They might have very legitimate concerns. I've just not seen any of them expressing those concerns.
Like the worry might just be that this is like the thin end of the wedge. Like, well, if we just allow this without really saying it was okay in the first place, what else? So if in 5 years' time something really shady happens and a dev stands up and says, "Oh, I want a choice about how and where my game is sold," and the lawyers can point out, well, you didn't give a shit about these other examples in the past.
I bet it must be that. It's like the copyright thing. If you don't jump on anyone like doing stuff that would go against your copyright, if you don't do that, then you have a leg to stand on in court. So that's why people jump on. Even, I guess like Nintendo jumping on little tiny family-owned websites where they were like giving out ROMs or allowing ROMs to be downloaded. It's like, why would Nintendo go after that? Well, they have to because otherwise,
if they don't for them,
it's not going to help them in the future.
that would
So
make
this might be
sense.
basically all they pretty want is let's have a contract, some agreement whereby this company agrees that this game will be on the service. I think it's a pretty legal thing that they just need that rather than just it's on the service now. Well, hang on, that's not how these things are done.
See, I'm still shocked that Nvidia didn't check any of this stuff.
Well, there
out,
is
it
that.
seems.
Yeah, it's like
It's crazy.
we can dance around the issue all day, but they still should have just fucking asked. Like that would have solved everything one way or the other. Like,
Yeah.
It's very cheeky.
Yeah, I just think if you think of it as logical as a replacement as for a PC, like GeForce Now is a PC. Like if you look at it like that, then you kind of think we don't really need to ask, do we? They just access. It's like saying this is a PC. You're renting a PC. I kind of get both sides of it.
Yeah.
I think, you're right. Them putting their stamp on now because of their fear of what might happen in future streaming services, then I fully understand that. But I think the difference here is that you're not giving GeForce GeForce Now any money for purchasing a game.
Yeah.
You're giving it through Steam, which is a service that they sell their game on.
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting one. Really, it's with all the streaming stuff, we're entering new ground, and we're going to see more of this sort of stuff, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, that was meant to be a brief diversion. Apologies.
Yeah, that's all right. But it's all right. We're going back to streaming soon anyway. So it's fine. Star Wars big new story era has been announced, but there's no video games. But I thought this is worth mentioning anyway because we did Star Calls and stuff like that. What?
It's not that there's definitely no games, right? They just haven't mentioned any.
Yeah, there's none mentioned yet, and but obviously there probably or certainly will be, won't there?
Yeah.
Like in the future. But there was also the other bit that was interesting though in the story was that there was apparently a third cancelled Star Wars game at EA that they ditched about a year back that didn't happen, and but they got two in development now. There's a sequel to Fallen Order. And there's also going to be what they're calling a smaller, more unusual project at Jade Raymond's EA Motive thing. Right. So, yeah. But then...
I mean, like, Jade Raymond now works for Google.
I was going to say, she went to Stadia, didn't she?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so what's... This is...
Did you get this from Xbox.com?
Yeah, come on, James. Like,
hang on. This is Eurogamer's fault. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to have a look.
Yeah, the Jade Raymond headed EA Motive is not a thing because she went to Stadia.
Well,
can I just double check this news story on the Computer Game Show? Is there's some Star Wars books coming out? So yeah, I've got another news story. Season 7 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine has started, and I'm really enjoying it.
And there's no games planned.
It's been really good.
I'm upset about this because I put this story in specifically for you as well because I thought you might be interested. But okay, never mind.
And just to be clear, like James is absolutely right. This story says over the weekend, Kotaku reported on a third cancelled Star Wars game at EA, ditched almost a year back. 2 Star Wars games remain in development at EA: a sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, definitely not High Republic based, and a quote smaller, more unusual project at the Jade Raymond headed EA Motive.
See? Oh, right, well,
absolutely fucked it.
Did big time.
Expose on the Computer Game Show.
EA games. I mean, like news alert. Games get cancelled all the time. We don't know about in the industry.
Yep.
Can I just make a request, James? At the end of every single one of your news stories, can you end it with "There are no games planned to come out"? just put that at the end. Right? Is that it? Is that it for news?
No.
Oh, God.
No.
I'm sorry, James, have you got more news about more films that are coming out which to have no game-related segment to them?
Matt, listen, you should love this stuff because you love me doing like announcements and stuff like that and just like reading off lists of games and stuff.
When they're related to games, James. It's like there's the new Nolan film is coming out. There's no games announced for it, but new Nolan film's coming out. Everyone. There's a new Star Trek film in the works. There's no games.
Do you know, I did this for you, Dave. It was just for you, this story, because of the whole Star Wars thing.
He's blaming you there, Dave. He's blaming you for this.
Yeah, okay. Well, don't.
not using Eurogamer anymore. Just Polygon or something. Anyway,
unreliable.
Okay, here's another one. This is a really quick one because I mean, I thought about including this one. I mean, again, this is a story for you, Sean. I mean, this is what I'm doing. I'm just tailoring the news all the time.
To be fair, I've looked at the next two are for me. I'm absolutely elated.
Like the shittest Santa Claus on the face of the planet.
Is this all related to games though? That's what I want to know.
Could you imagine if he was Santa? He was going, "I'm doing this for you, kids. You fucking." But it's not what we asked for. Don't worry about that.
No, the next 2 stories, one of them's like a Sean story. The second one's maybe Sean and maybe David. I'm not so sure. Yeah. The last one's for me. It's a story for me.
James, but James, are there any for me here or what?
Fuck no. Why did I do that?
I mean, the last one's sort of for you as well, Matt.
Yeah, kind of, I guess, yeah.
It's like Simpsons episodes, isn't it? Well, this is a Homer Simpson episode, this is a Bart Simpson episode, and it gets to James's one, and it's a Lisa one. Oh, it's a fucking Lisa one. There were no games planned.
Games planned.
Come on, let's get to it.
Well, either way, Platinum Games have announced their next project.
It's a game news story. Okay.
Yeah, so...
No, their next project's a film, Matt.
Oh, okay, of course, yeah, no games planned.
They're opening a studio to focus on live service games for consoles.
Oh, I bet you'd love that. wouldn't you, Sean?
Well, Sean, what do you think?
I mean, so the main thing is Project GG, right? Which they did a little teaser trailer of, and it appears to involve a man who can grow to the size of a skyscraper and battle giant monsters, and it looks cool as fuck.
To me.
I mean, it's just like pre-rendered footage, but yeah, just the concept of Platinum working on a sort of kaiju thing. Yeah, that's cool as fuck. So I'm excited.
Anyone
Cool.
else?
No.
Okay. Trackmania is going live service as well because they're doing a remake of Trackmania Nations.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's out.
Was Nations a good one?
Isn't it out quite soon?
I don't know, but it's definitely
Fucking hell,
coming.
James.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. Let me check see if it says.
It fucking does. 5th of May.
It doesn't say. Let me check to see if it is.
Ironically,
James, it says in like the fourth
Ironically,
line.
James, it comes
Where?
out on fucking Star Wars Day, the 5th of May.
Where does it say that? Oh yeah,
Oh, that's May the 4th, isn't it?
Launches on
Fuck.
PC.
Oh my god!
You're both
right,
fired.
okay, Sean. Sean, I almost died from when you're about to laugh so hard that it all comes out at once. I hit that then. It comes out on Star Wars Day, you fucking idiot. May the 5th.
It doesn't. That's the 4th of May.
May the 5th.
Yeah, well, we got that, James.
May
Thanks
the,
for catching
May
up.
the 5th be with you, mate.
Cheers for
What's the
repeating
time
that,
difference
mate.
over there? Yeah.
Is there a delay on Discord tonight?
Anyway, James, it's out on the 5th of May, James. Just look down to the fourth line.
Star Wars Day.
I didn't read this because I
Famously.
didn't really care about it, but I just put it in there because I thought Sean might like it.
I do
is
really
very
like
exciting.
it. I'm well excited. I fucking love a new Trackmania.
Well, I mean, we all know that the last... it's coming to consoles, right? It's coming to consoles, right?
Sorry, you totally just cut out then, Dave. Thanks, Discord.
Okay.
No, it launches on PC on the 5th of May.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean,
It's
one would hope
it is-
it would come to consoles, but...
Yeah.
GeForce
Or
Now, it
GeForce
mate. You'd be
Now.
fine. Yeah.
No, because I mean, we're huge fans of Trackmania Turbo. We made it Game of the Year somehow, I mean, there needs to be a console version because otherwise I won't play it. Know what I mean?
And I'm pretty
you
sure
can't play that game on GeForce.
I'm
now.
pretty sure Turbo did well enough to justify the port, right? Because obviously the
I don't know if
series
it did.
has mostly been PC focused over the years, but Turbo was
Yeah.
I think Turbo was a big enough deal on console, so yeah, fingers crossed.
So what did Trackmania Nations do that's worthy of it having a remake?
Honestly, I don't like. I'm not a big enough fan to. I assume maybe that's just where like most of the fan base still gathers. But it's the sort of F1 looking cars, but in the weird sort of stadium. I can't remember. Was that in Turbo? I
no.
can't remember.
They had them in Turbo, because they were
love
Matt's favourites.
Yeah, they were so good.
Yeah, man.
I like the touring car ones.
The touring car ones were good,
but yeah.
because there's no the F1 style ones. So like, there's no real there's no drifting really. But that was like a big deal in some of the other ones. But yeah, I'm well excited. I'm keen to see. Like, it's not often I'm excited about something going fully live service, right? But like the back end of like most of the traditional Trackmania games, like everything pre-turbo, like the back end stuff was quite forward thinking at one point, and then just sort of rapidly became really old fashioned. Like they just sort of kept making them pretty much the same. So yeah, interested to see how they develop that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That'd make a good stream.
I would. I'll do that.
The first few nights on that, if they've got the 100-player mode, fuck me.
Yeah, man.
What? That was one of the first games we streamed, wasn't it, Matt?
God, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, mate.
Okay. All right.
No one else.
Cheers, mate. Right. Go on, then. Next news story.
This is the last one, and
Thank God.
it's so. What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
Not been your best week. Go on.
Come on, it's not been that bad.
No,
Okay.
no games planned.
Well, I'll tell you what, there are no
James.
games planned for the next story either, because developers and publishers have said that Google isn't offering them enough money to bring their games to Stadia. Yeah.
I mean,
So this was pretty bad to read. Pretty shocking to read. We all know that Google Stadia has been a bit of a mess or whatever. But when the developers are saying, look, we're not even getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
That's really fucking this. I know you've said all along, James, that Google are very flaky with this stuff. But this is worse than the worst case scenario you were thinking, right?
Well, I mean, it's almost like they're treating it like YouTube, if you know what I mean. Like, as in, because you know
Go
like, they
on.
don't treat creators that well,
Yeah.
you know, with that, and they're just expecting that people are going to flood to it because it's like a massive platform. Everyone will go to it. Everyone will create stuff for it, and then Google don't really have to do anything much. And it seems like they're kind of treating this the same way, where I think they were just expecting that because it's Google, people would want in on it and that they wouldn't have to do anything, really.
I mean, what makes this worse is that it's not simply a case of, they're essentially PC games, just do a quick port and a bit of optimization. These are like Linux games, so actually most games take a lot of work to actually get them on Stadia.
Yeah.
So it's
And
not
especially,
like,
say,
you know
in
what,
terms of
it's
indie
not
stuff,
that
that's
they
like...
expect some cache injection for doing a simple port. It feels like they've got to do way more work than a regular port, and they're still not getting any extra money.
Isn't this the same problem that Valve had with the Steam Machine stuff as well? Like, because that was all based off of Linux,
Yeah,
wasn't it, as
certainly,
well?
yeah, and that's why that died.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But do you want to hear some quotes? Because so one developer said there are platforms you want to be on because they have an audience and you want to reach that audience. That's what Steam is, and that's what Nintendo Switch is. They have big groups on their platforms, and you want to be with those groups so they can play your games. And then somebody else said, if you could see yourself getting into a long-term relationship with Google, but with Google's history, I don't even think they're working on Stadia in a year. That wouldn't be something crazy that Google does. It's within their track record. And it's true. I mean, they do this all the time. They start stuff and then just like bin it off. Like after
I
a
think
time,
the
if they're not
only
interested.
thing that confuses me is that they're actually they build their own studios.
Well, no, not yet. They're doing that at the moment. Like they're talking about they're building like first-party games and stuff like that. But we've not seen anything like from it.
So
at
what
all.
do you think that they just drop that and then just start producing games? They drop Stadia and just start
I don't think they
producing
are going to
games
stop.
for
I don't think they
traditional
are going to
consoles.
drop it. I think they'll just
No,
keep
I don't
plowing
think they're
money
going to
into it.
stop. This is going to continue. Like I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I mean, look at how long they persisted with Google Plus, like, and no one cared about that,
was-
like for such a long time.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of thing. I mean, this is another quote here. This guy says, with Google, it's easy to look at them as well. It's Google. If anyone's going to make it work, it's them. But then he's like, but they failed in a ton in the past and walked away from major services before. So it's like, there still is
like
that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, Stadia have responded. Do you want to hear what they said?
Fuck off! There's nothing wrong with it.
We think it's good, actually.
Yeah, these guys are founders, or whatever. Jealous, they're not founders. They didn't get to
I
resign them.
also hope that we are working with partners and all that sort of shit. Go on, let's hear it.
You'll be pleased to hear this, Dave. The publishers and developers we speak with regularly are very supportive and want Stadia to succeed. It is also worth pointing out that not every publisher has announced their game for Stadia so far, and more games will continue to be announced in due course. Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's see what happens in due course then. But I've got a feeling they're going to see how many people don't re-sign for another month now that the free stuff is over. And I've got no interest in the service, and it doesn't seem. I think what it is not only have I got no interest in the service, they are really doing nothing to draw anyone in. You know what I mean? There's really not been that big. Oh shit! Yeah, maybe I will try it out for a little bit.
Hello, farming simulators on there. We've got 28 games on there now,
This
Dave.
is what I said from the beginning. You have to have like some massive bit of content that people want to like get people
Content
in.
or
features.
something cool.
Yeah. Like none of the interesting stuff that was shown off initially, like the state sharing and stuff. None of that's in place yet, right? With it, or is there any date for any of it? Like it's just
They've just gone quiet on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they said spring for like the free version. I mean, I wonder if we're even going to see that in. I mean, like March, April. This is springtime, right? I mean, May. That's getting towards summer. So surely the next like 2 months. I mean, I think games like Doom Eternal, which got delayed, probably was a massive blow. But they should have also, had contingency plans if games are getting delayed. So.
Still, at least the developers they're working with want it to be good, so that's that's
they want it good,
yeah, that's a great. Yeah, they want it to be good, Matt.
Yeah.
So
Don't we all?
yeah.
No, I mean, not James. But.
Should we get to what we've been playing?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take
I mean,
long,
we've
is
been
it?
talking forever. First of all, I want to talk to Matt because Matt, you've been playing the Final Fantasy VII demo.
Yeah, so that came out today at the time of recording.
What I want to ask you, right?
Go on.
Is it the same demo we played at EGX?
So it starts off far sooner, or much before that, but basically it ends the same place. Yeah,
Right.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I wouldn't mind trying that again.
Yeah, same.
So it basically ends on that demo and that sort of that boss, that tank boss. And I actually died. I didn't actually get to finish the demo, but
really?
it ends there. But yeah, it was way harder than I remembered being at EGX. And I've seen some other people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it was good, but I died at that point." I mean, obviously I was just shit, but it looks gorgeous. I'm really, really excited for this game. And again, as someone who didn't play the original, so I feel like there's probably part of me was probably missing a lot of the stuff that people who did play the original.
But then equally, you might not be bogged down by it in the same way that a lot of people will be.
Possibly, yeah. But yeah, I'm just really excited. A bunch of previews went live over the last few days. Of people that played, I think they've all played like a lot of press played like 3 to 4 hours worth, and they say it's just excellent. And a lot of people are anticipating that the final game will be between 20 and 25 hours long. Sorry, as in like this first chapter. I'm really, really excited for it, which is I've never been excited for a Final Fantasy game before. It looks absolutely stunning, like throughout. And I really know nothing about the story apart from that huge story beat that everyone basically knows, regardless of whether they play the game or not. That is the only thing I really know about this game. So I'm excited to be surprised. I've heard they've made lots of changes. Even for people that do know the game, they've made changes to even surprise them. So for someone like me, it'll all be new. It'll be exciting. It looks stunning. The combat system is really, really fun. Switching between each of the characters.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. It's not so much the. I mean, you said it looks great, and it does. But for me, I had no interest in this game until I experienced the combat. Like the way it sort of brings in that stuff, that traditional, select an attack, watch the attack happen. How it sort of merges that with traditional third-person action was like a real sort of eye-opener for me. I was like, oh my god, I get this now. It feels like special moves rather than you clicking a text option and watching it play out.
Like, there's just so much happening at one point. You can obviously focus on your one single character or switch to another one. Now, I think later on in the game you switch to probably more than one. You probably have a whole party of people to switch to, and then like they have their own moves as well as like their own like things that like health potions that can save you. So you're switching between them saving you, them doing their own move, and then once that's done, you go back in. So yeah, it's for what was like a turn-based a role-playing game. Now it's very intense, and you're just throwing everything you can at these enemies. So I can't wait to see what the story's about and play more. But yeah, this demo is good. It got me. Is this
a Sony exclusive?
I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, but I'm fairly sure it's like a 12-month exclusive. I know there was talk about that the other day about like it won't be on any other platforms for a while. I'm not sure if a date was confirmed, but I think everyone's widely known it's going to be a year exclusive.
Wow. No, I mean it feels right because it it was so. It was known as a PlayStation game, wasn't it? Yeah,
totally.
So it kind of feels right.
Famously, it's the game that the whole fallout with Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Don't need to go over that story, but supposedly this is the game where Sony were like, you can't put Final Fantasy VII on a fucking cartridge, you idiots. It's got to be on a disc. So 4 discs in fact.
It's got to be on a CD-ROM.
Yeah, mate.
I'll be all psyched for this game. I know you are, Dave.
Yeah, really. Yeah, actually, really excited.
Have you played it before, Sean?
I've played. I mean, probably like quite a bit of the original. I think I like barely got off disc 1, which obviously anyone who's finished it, it's basically the intro. Still quite a lot of it, but like it's been that long that I remember almost none of it. So quite happy for a fresh take on it. I imagine going back, like I know it's a classic and everything. But I imagine going back to the original, I'd probably find it a bit irritating because I don't generally get on with traditional JRPGs anyway now.
Yeah.
And this is like like the combat in this is what I wanted from like Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Because it's the same style of combat and then it's basically an action game, but you still like you're picking like certain actions to do and like magic spells, items, whatever, from a little menu with the D-pad. Like that's what Kingdom Hearts has always done, but like Kingdom Hearts 3 that came out last year still felt like the first Kingdom Hearts game that came out on the PS2. It still felt really stiff, and I was really disappointed it didn't really move on. So the fact that this Final Fantasy VII remake basically does that, but brings it into 2020 is really exciting.
Yeah,
Cool. James?
James, have you played FF7 before?
Well, I spoke about it before. I mean, it's one of those games where I've tried to play it many, many times, and I usually end up playing it for about sort of 12 hours or so, and then stopping. And I'm kind of interested in this because I really did enjoy what I played at Rezzed, but I'm also a little bit put off by some of the stuff I've read online from people like saying who've played it, who are like, it really doesn't feel like a complete game at all.
All right.
In the sense that I know that that's because
How do they know?
Well, what you mean?
Well,
You mean
these are
press that
pe-
played
this
the
is
first
not.
bit?
Yeah, this is press that played it, not just the demo. It's like they was it. Is it Jason Schreier at Kotaku who just like kept on saying like he couldn't shake the feeling that it was like this doesn't feel like
But
a
they haven't
complete
played the full
experience.
game, have they?
Well, I assume that's what he's playing at the moment.
No, Jason Schreier and the rest of the press got to play like 3 to 4 hours of the full game at a press event a few weeks ago, but they basically played like chapters 1, 2, 7, and much one further on. But if it, I mean, I guess I haven't actually read his piece, but I gather he probably gets the sense that it just feels like it doesn't feel like the full thing because he knows it's just the first chapter.
It's an episode.
Yeah,
it's an episode rather than. And the thing is like that's fine, but then how long is it going to be until the next one comes out? And because I know that sounds ridiculous because you can just think, oh, I'm just going to have a great time with this, just with this game. But then I don't know. I still would like to know when the next one's going to come out, so I can feel like I really want to get invested in this or not.
Well, yeah, because if it's going to be another fucking 4 years, so it's going to be weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
I waited 18 years or whatever for Shenmue, and that was like, don't want another experience like that because that was awful.
Yeah, I mean, the next one will be on a whole other generation of consoles. That's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and
no,
it's not like they can sell it on.
Fun.
They can't sell it on like, find out what happens in part 2. It's like we know what the story is. So yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything
I'm
else,
still
Matt?
pumped. No, I'm doing I played Super Metroid on Sunday.
Yeah, mate.
How did you find it?
I found the controls a bit confusing, so I changed them, and obviously it's an old game, but atmosphere wise, I think it's fantastic. Music is fantastic. Really loving the music so far.
It was crazy because the boys were texting you just before you started streaming, saying, "Matt, for the first hour at least, just ignore the chat." And just get into the atmosphere because the intro's really atmospheric. And then I watched like the first 10 minutes of your stream, and you were constantly looking at the chat.
I haven't seen his messages
today.
at that point.
And all I
there's
could
only when I
see
saw
was
Shaw in the chat. I said, okay, I better read the messages.
Yeah.
So I watched like the first, I saw about the first half an hour, 45 minutes of it, and Matt, you spent most of the game staring at the chat screen, and oh, hang on, I better send Sean a text message, and just doing that as well.
I read the message that you guys just said. Read, he said I'll text Matt, so I better read it, and but he said calm down.
All right. Well, I mean, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I killed a boss. That was fun. And then I died, and then I realised it didn't save that because you've got to go and actually manually save it after you kill a boss. So I had to go kill the boss again. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to get back to it on Sunday. I mean, it's just exciting to play a big Metroid game, and I love Metroidvania games so much. So no, I'm enjoying it so far. The atmosphere's brilliant, and I can't wait to get back to it.
Such a huge gap in my knowledge, man. I've never got into a Metroid game.
They're so good.
I know. Yeah.
And then I never played this or a Castlevania game, and I love the genre that sort of come from both of those. So yeah, it's good. And so how's this rank, James, on your all time list?
This would definitely be on my top 10 of games of all time because it's so good. I'm just a bit worried that playing it on stream, you're not going to get a great experience out of it because of the fact that you're going to be just interrupted all the time. Because for me, this game really is all about exploration and atmosphere.
And it's about the
chat are just telling.
Sorry, it's about the isolation as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
never going to have that streaming yet, unfortunately. Yeah. But I think I'll still enjoy it. I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. But I definitely want to have the same experience where I just playing on my own and getting involved in the experience that way. But no, it's good so far.
I played it not so long ago on Wii U, and it was just I mean, I played it just on the gamepad, and it was just really nice to play at night, just like in bed or whatever. It was a great experience.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Sean, what have you got for us?
So I've been messing around with. I finally bought. I was going to say an Oculus Link cable. It's just a USB-C cable, but it's an incredibly fancy one.
I didn't think these things were going to work. I thought you had to get the specific cable.
Well, that's what...
Because weren't the cable like 80 or 90 quid?
Yeah, that's what Oculus
quid,
want you to think. Yeah, they want you to think that you need their fucking fibre optic cable. But yeah, so you do have to buy like a decent USB-C cable. Like not just anyone will do, and obviously it needs to be a decent length as well because it's going to be attached to your head as you're moving around and stuff. So I bought a 3-meter one off Amazon. It was like 32 quid, and it works a treat. The fucking, I mean, I won't go into detail, but I had about 2 hours of fucking around with it last night. So you plug it in, you have like the Oculus software on your PC that works like pretty much immediately. It just recognizes the device and goes, right, cool, here you go, here's your Oculus library. Straight away it recognized that I already had Minecraft on PC, so I was able to just like go on, I mentioned last week that I'm playing Minecraft again, and we've got a server with a couple of mates, just to be able to have a walk around in that in VR was cool, but started to feel sick quite quickly. They're very keen to point out that it's a beta, the VR stuff in Minecraft. They're like, yeah, we know we haven't got this right yet. Like the comfort is very poor in it. Felt really bad after like 2 minutes, but it was fun. But like a lot of like we don't really have any games on the Oculus account, so I wanted to hook it up to Steam because obviously with Half-Life Alyx coming, that's only going to be available on Steam. But I'd seen plenty of things saying, oh yeah, Valve have said it's going to work on like every fucking headset going, like it's going to be fine, don't worry about it. So I went to Google. It's like, right, how do I get Oculus Quest working with Steam VR? And you Google that and you get loads of fucking guides saying like, oh, right, you need like this app and then this other app, and then you need to sideload. You have to put the headset into developer mode, sideload this app onto that, do this, pay 20 quid for that, or else you can only use it for 10 minutes at a time. And it took me fucking ages trying to get it work. I could get it working over Wi-Fi, but the quality wasn't great, and it just wasn't working over USB. And I was just like, fuck, man, this is a nightmare. I was like, because honestly, like what was going through my head is like, how am I going to tell Matt? Because I know how excited you are, Matt, to play Half-Life Alyx. I was like, if this is like a nightmare to set up, then like, fuck me. Turns out that's all complete bollocks. You literally just load up Steam VR and then load up Oculus Link, and it goes, oh, you're using Steam VR? Okay, here you go. And that is it. And it works perfectly.
Maybe you were doing that like pre that option, I guess. Maybe all those articles were like
pre... they must have been...
Patch that in.
Yeah, they must have been written before there was like proper native support. But like, how are they all the top results when you just Google... Or maybe it's just one of the things where, well, no one's bothered to write an article saying, no, you just plug it in and click this.
Because it's so simple.
Yeah, because why would you have to explain that to people? Anyway, so I've had a quick go. So I'd like Res VR... what do they call it? The Res re-release. What was it actually called? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, shit. Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, that one. Obviously did an Area X run. Obviously some of the magic has come off, but it's still like fucking beautiful. Thumper I've got on Steam. So
what was it called? Res Evolved? Was it? No.
Infinite?
Res Infinite. That's it. Yeah. Jesus Christ,
Quick go on Thumper. Very good game. Absolutely terrifying in VR. And I played, what was it called? It was in a Humble Bundle, and I forgot to put the name of it in the doc.
But that really does not narrow it down, Sean.
No, it really doesn't. But it's basically, you're just a gladiator in this little arena, and it's all like, it's cartoony enough, but like really brutal. There's just all these these huge guys coming at you, and you just have like swords and like, clubs with all spikes on them and shit. And you just beat the hell out of loads of people who are coming at you, and it's so good. Like
that game is called GORN, by the way.
Thank you. I was just loading up Humble Bundle now to check. Yeah, GORN, GORN. Oh fuck me, it's so much fun. Like it's just all the cool stuff you expect from a VR game, right? Like, see, like bashing one guy in, he drops a weapon, you can just reach down, pick it up. Someone else has got a shield, so you fucking cut his arm off, take the shield, and you just like, and like I got like a Morning Star, you know, so it's like a little stick with a chain on it and then a spiky ball on the end, and I was like, you know, whacking people with it. And then after a couple of minutes, I was like, can I fucking like windmill it? So yeah, I started swinging my arm around, and lo and behold, it's like, and then so they're just like,
it's like me on Connect Bowling, James. Remember that?
So yeah, just like, you know, shield up, just swinging around, waiting for people to come to me, and then boof, and just absolutely smashing the fuck out of people. Really good fun. So yeah, I'm really excited to try more stuff because there's a humble bundle at the moment with a load of VR games on it. So I'll plow through them at some point, and just.
That sounds great that just fucking works though, man.
Yeah.
That just, you know, honestly, it's so exciting. Not only that, I'd love to. I know I was joking around about Poker Stars or whatever, but the version on the Oculus Go, the Oculus Quest, sorry, is like way toned down to what you see if you use the, and if that works like flawlessly, I think you get so much more out of it. Like the stages are so more like active and. All that sort of stuff. It's really exciting that they've allowed you to do this. You know?
Yeah, totally. Because like, obviously, you know, the Quest it still isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than a fucking Valve Index. Like, and works, you know, without putting up fucking cameras in the room or anything. It's just it's properly impressive. I mean, obviously, part of the, you know, the cool thing about the Quest is that it's fully wireless, and here I am saying, hey, look, you can stick a wire in it now. But it's for the relative cost of it. Like, I think it's a really interesting solution. If you fancied a Quest anyway, and you've already got a, you know, decent PC, like, it's just an option that's been added. It's well worth doing, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
No, so obviously you can play Quest in like a very, very small space, and with if you had an Oculus or Vive, you know, at least a fair few years ago, you needed quite a large space to actually get anything out of it. With the fact you can now play Oculus games on Quest, can you play this in quite a small area, or does it tell you need like a much larger space?
No, yeah,
it
hasn't restricted me at all. It still has the same room scale stuff that you have with the Quest, so it, you know, warns you if you're getting near a wall. I did when I was playing GORN, like, absolutely fuck my hand up on my desk because I was like, like holding a guy to the ground and repeatedly bashing his skull in and just straight into the fucking So that's a problem. But that was me just getting a bit too into it. I think it's like, I think I was warned that I was getting near the edge. So no more space than you needed to use the Quest anyway in the first place. Yeah.
I was just thinking that when Alyx comes out, was I going to have to like move my PC downstairs for more space? But if I can still play it in like
I think there is. So within Steam, I don't know about the Oculus software, but certainly within Steam VR, when you first set it up, like there is the option to just be like, I will just be sat down using this, and you can set it up accordingly. So good. Yeah.
So we've seen a lot more Half-Life Alyx today. A couple of new trailers got put out there.
I've not seen anything.
No, me neither.
Maybe don't watch them, Sean.
Really?
Because I watched them.
Yeah, there's 3 gameplay videos out. Or, I don't know, is it like 2 gameplay and 1 trailer? I don't know. I didn't watch them.
I don't know. I think it's 2 gameplay. Yeah. I watched them and I just thought, nah.
Really?
Not for me.
Really? Oh, what?
It looks horrific. It looks horrific.
What's bad about it?
As in shit or like horrifying?
As in scary.
Okay.
Very scary. I'm amazed that you're even thinking about playing this at this point, Sean.
Okay, well, I might have to have a look then.
The big thing that it showed off is that, you know, enemies can be moved about once they're dead, for example.
Right.
And the example they gave is that you shoot one of the zombie things and then you bent down and then nudge the crab off its head with the gun, and it's sort of just the head crab just flops over. And it just looks like sickening. And there's like a scene where she's on a train and all the lights are going crazy outside the train and you can see those things walking about by the windows and stuff. It's just awful. I don't know how you're going to do this, Sean.
I mean, from what you've told me, maybe I won't.
Did you play? You played Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
You've gone for like Raven.
Yes.
Yeah, Ravenholm.
I didn't enjoy it though. I mean,
I'm sorry,
obviously I enjoyed
but
the
you
game,
can't
but
compare
just not that bit.
Well, no, but is it not that similar sort of vibe? Obviously, it's VR now, but
because it's in VR, that makes such a huge difference. Things jumping at your face
it's
on the
horrible, the
TV
difference.
is a bit like, ooh. You know, it's a bit like, ooh. Sometimes you get a moment where you turn around, there's a head crab right behind you, you're like, ugh, like that, right? But things jumping at your face in 3D, flying towards your eyes, is a whole new ball game, mate.
Yeah.
Whole new ball game.
It was like when I played Resident Evil 7. It's like I started playing it in VR, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like after a while, and then I took it off, and it's fine. It's you can cope with it. Not in VR. But Matt, have you thought about streaming this maybe when it comes out?
no, I want to enjoy it for myself.
Might be the right decision, I think. Yeah.
Selfish.
Also, I don't know if I can.
Very selfish. Very selfish, though, Matt.
Yeah, no, I haven't thought about it, but also I don't know how well it's going to work to play the game. That's also on a Quest and also stream it. It might be
Yeah, because I tried recording some footage from the Quest and it was bad. PC did not like it at all. Yeah, go on.
When you play it, can you just set a camera up on yourself? We don't need the gameplay footage. We just want
me.
to see you just like moving around, and then we'll do like an edit of the best bits. You like constantly.
Just that with the game sound, so you can hear the sound of the game and then just you flailing around.
I don't even think we need that. It's even funnier without it. It's just him just shouting. Okay, cool. Is that it? All you got?
More Minecraft, a bit
week?
more Final Fantasy 14, but nothing to really say about either.
Right
so.
home about. Okay, I'll talk about my games. Firstly, I'm still cracking on with Disco Elysium. I'm on day 4. I am blowing hot and cold with that game all over the place.
Really?
Like, there are times where I'm like, this is just... I just think... I think it's so weird, man. There's moments where I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking exciting. And then there are moments where I'm like, let me give you an example. So I'm at a point now where... in the main story, there's a reason for me to... I've already been to the fishing town, but there's a reason for me to go there now. I think you know what it is. I'm looking for someone. And so I was like, yes, okay, let me click all the way over there. I got all the way over there, asked a bunch of people, and got nothing. It was like, no, I haven't seen them. It's like, okay, all right, now what? Like, there's moments like that where it feels like the lack of direction is really affecting the pace of the game.
Yeah.
So not necessarily the pace of the game is wrong, but the lack of the direction is highlighting or is leading me down a path where the pace of the narrative is slowing down too much.
Yeah, so I mentioned where I reached a point where sort of the side quests had all dried up, and there was like 2 ways forward, and they both involved really hard checks. And I was like scraping around for experience points. So this is the bit where that happened to me.
Right. Okay.
I mean, the good news is once you get over that hump, it's a lot of stuff happens. It's basically pretty much straightforward to the end after that.
Because I mean, like that stuff where you're starting to discover that everything you've been told is not necessarily true. Was fantastic. Like, really well done, really interesting dialogue, really gripping stuff.
Are you talking about
to just wandering around
without
again.
spoiling anything? Are you talking about the Pale by any chance, or has that not come up yet?
No,
it's fine.
That's not come up.
Don't worry about it.
No, that's fine. No, I'm talking about the what happened in the room.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All that stuff coming out was really, really good. Really well done. So yeah, I mean, I like the game. I'm just hoping that, as you say, that once I'm over this next hump, that's it then.
Yeah.
And I can, the some of the side quests are not really interesting, like, to me at this point. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm quite happy to ditch a lot of these side quests and not go down that route.
Yeah.
I want to find out what happens in the main story now. And it feels like it's not clear in what I need to do to progress that. I think it kind of is, but also it's hitting a wall a bit. So I'm looking forward to it picking up, but I will finish that game because the main story is gripping enough to...
No. The last bit is relatively brisk. It's still like quite a good few hours, but it's
cool. I mean, because I'm 20 hours in.
Yeah.
I've done 20 hours.
Cool.
But I'm enjoying some of the chat about that game, and it's just like it will take me a bit of effort to turn it on again now because I know that I've got to just be be there, in that space again where I'm kind of like, okay, what do I have to click on next?
Yeah.
But still, again, I'm sounding way more negative than I actually feel about this game. I do
it's
really
so,
like it.
Like, without spoiling it, all you've got is like, oh, the writing's amazing. Like, there's not a lot else you can go into, is there? Without
no. And it's kind of like I feel like I'm already preparing my justifying voting for Life is Strange because genuinely, and I'm not like I would not lie and to say, oh no, I still would have picked it if I didn't believe that. But I just there was, although this game does a lot more in terms of innovation and interesting things than Life is Strange 2 did. I just feel that there wasn't a point in Life is Strange 2 where I was like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? There was I didn't have that frustration, and that's like really important for me that I don't slip into that space in a game where I'm just kind of thinking I need to get past this bit now because this is doing my nutting. I also I completed Halo 4 in my marathon run.
Nice.
Halo 4 not as good as I remember. Really not as good as I remember. It's got some weird levels in it, man. One of them where you're just on like this massive vehicle, like this massive tank thing that you just have to keep getting off and fighting for a bit and then getting back on. Dreadful level. It's nowhere near as good as Reach.
No way.
And I have started Halo 5.
Guardians. Okay, right, how far are you into it?
2 levels. Or 3? Maybe we did 3 last night. There's only 11 levels in the game, and apparently 2 of them are cutscenes. So I'm probably about a quarter of the way through. But it's not as bad as I was expecting, I must admit. But that's because I've heard for years about how terrible it is. But there are some fucking weird decisions in there, isn't it? It feels like they sat down and said, let's modernise Halo, but keep it with that Halo feeling, but they've taken the worst of both worlds and stuck it in there. Like, for example, we don't need to get knocked out of iron sights when we get hit by one bullet.
Ooh.
Like that was always in Halo, right?
Yeah.
Because iron sights wasn't really a thing, so it didn't really matter. But doing it in this is fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, you're lining up a sniper shot, you get hit by one needler bullet from across the map, and then suddenly you have to line up your sniper shot again. It's like, come on. The fact that it forces you into co-op gaming, whether you've got co-op partners or not, is just awful. And
how do you mean?
AI,
like, what, you have to like do specific things with the computer?
No, it gives you computer controlled characters.
Right.
So you're walking around in a team of 4 constantly, and if you haven't got a team of 4 that you're playing with, then you've got 3 AI people who are ridiculously stupid. The amount of times we're in a big battle and they're just standing next to each other not doing anything, or you fall on the floor and you're waiting for them to revive you, but they run over to your body and just either stand there while an enemy gets killed, like while the enemy is right next to them, and they're trying to revive you, even though there's a brute right next to them battering the shit out of them, so they die instantly, or they just stand next to you and don't bother to revive you.
Amazing.
And it's like, what are you doing? And then the game ends, or the game, you die, and then you've got to respawn and do that whole bit again. It looks stunning. Some of the weapons are fucking brilliant in it. But yeah, I mean, it's very strange. It tries to, the beauty of Halo is how open everything is and how the enemy AI creates situations where you feel like you're being completely surrounded and then getting out of that. This is far more linear, lots of enclosed spaces, and just real weird design decisions. There's that whole bit in the second level where you're walking through these really tight tunnels, and just out around every corner is one of those little grunts with holding 2 plasma grenades. Like
that has loads, doesn't it?
It's like, who thought this was a good idea? So you turn around the corner and then bang, you're dead. Oh great, okay, I'll just do it again then, shall I? And we're playing on heroic. And it's just ridiculous how many times you'll walk out into an arena and just get sniped one shot from across, from fucking miles away. You're like, what's the point? So yeah, I do get why people dislike it, but there have been enough moments for me to think, actually, I'm still getting into this a little bit. You know, it still
the
feels
multiplayer is excellent. Like I can't remember what the mode is, but the mode is basically like an esports type thing. You look at a bit of an arena where it's just like I think 2-on-2. And it's like really simple arenas, but yeah, that is. Joe and I played loads of that, and Jay when it first came out was brilliant. But I never really got inside the big team battle stuff. Or not? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the big team stuff.
I never really the cards. Sorry, you get. I wasn't really into that. But yeah, the smaller maps I thought were brilliant.
But it does make me think: where do they go? Where's Halo Infinite going? Where is it going?
Hopefully back to just. Back to the standard Halo, none of like the card stuff.
I kind of disagree. I kind of think they have to get rid of the idea of trying to emulate the older games. Because I've played through the older games and they have a lot of problems. There's a certain feeling to Halo that you can get without trying to emulate that gameplay style. I think now it's time to draw a line under it and say, we need to fully modernise this. We need to turn this into a modern day shooter with like AI or animation that does something that you've not seen in a game before. They need to push forward rather than look back now, because they've tried to look back and recapture that original Halo feeling, and they made.
But I think they did it with Reach. I think Reach felt like an older Halo, but
it absolutely did. So, but Reach was a long time ago.
Plus, that was also Bungie, wasn't it? Bungie as well, yeah.
Yeah. So that was their last big hurrah. And that's certainly the best Halo game I've played in this run, without a doubt.
It feels with Infinite though that's they're kind of trying to do what you're saying, which is that the thing that I think a lot of people remember about Halo like fondly is those first sort of couple of levels when you're actually just on the ring, sort of like bombing around in like warthogs and stuff like that, and sort of exploring. And Infinite looks like it's just basically that, like a massive open world.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it? Because the reason why Halo was so amazing is because it felt like nothing you'd ever played before. And every Halo that came out after that was trying to do what Halo 1 did. And it's like, well, no, that's not the point. The point is that Halo was so special because it felt so unique and so new and so innovative. And you're not going to get that innovation if you're just trying to emulate that old game.
Well, it looks like they've tried to just do that and then open world it more, like in a sense. And yeah, they need their own hook. They need to forget the old Halos to some extent and say, right, we need to do something new. It's like Half-Life. You look at Half-Life 1 and 2; they're not actually that similar. No. It's the fact that both games are so well received because they did new things. And Halo should go down that route. It should try something completely new. Because the enemies are still great. They still look good, and they still get them all. What they're trying to do with them, but it's you stick them in a modernised game that tries something new. Then I think you're onto a bit of a success story there, but. They can't just go and try and recapture that old shit again because it's just not going to work. But yeah, it'd be interesting. When is that due out? The end of the year? Or
it'll be a launch title, won't it, for Series X? Yeah.
So we'll probably see it at E3 then.
If E3 goes ahead. Yeah.
But if E3 goes ahead, that'd be... God, that's not far away, man. It's crazy.
June, yeah. James... They will have to show Halo Infinite when they properly... launch and announce this new console. That would have to be a key part of it.
Yeah, that would be the key game, won't it?
I think it's going to be really interesting because it's also, it's going to play on the original Xbox One as well. And I'm just wondering what that's going to look like.
Of course it is,
and how is that going to hold it back in terms of design, the whole thing. It's interesting.
It'd be like PCs that you can do ray tracing or you can turn it down to like 640 by 480. I think it'll be that,
Yeah, but what about other advantages and things like AI and things like that, which, you can't
You'll have dumb AI on the Xbox One.
You can only play it on easy.
Maybe they'll actually introduce the power of the cloud to Xbox One finally. Never know. Right, James, what you got for us, mate?
I've got pretty much nothing, because the only thing I've played really has been The Witcher 3, and everyone's talked about that for years and years.
Still getting on with that?
Yeah, I still think it's fantastic. It's the thing I'm really enjoying about it is that, you have like a massive list of secondary missions, and you kind of think these are going to be like sort of little side missions and
Fetch
stuff.
quests or something, yeah.
Yeah, but they end up being absolutely massive
Yep.
and like really in depth and really interesting as well. It's it's great. I mean, I just did this whole one with Dandelion and trying to build the sort of this cabaret that he's trying to create, and there's just so many threads to that are really interesting. It's
Yeah,
it's
it always
great. I'm
feels
really
like
enjoying it.
it's just like Geralt just taking a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the stories are still like half decent. But he's just kind of like, okay, right, I'm done for a bit. I'm just gonna go and do some stuff, and I'll get back to you later. That's what it felt like to me. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, I think I've spent about 30 hours, I think, so far, and I'm just about to go to Skellige. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. Skellige, sorry, yeah, Skellige. That's where I'm going next. But I've no idea how far I am in or anything.
Is that is it the Switch version, right?
Yeah.
And you found it to be totally fine now. You've got used to the fact that it doesn't look, as good as it does.
I got used to it, but then also they patched it.
I was going to say, it looks a lot
last
better
week.
now, doesn't it?
Oh, that's
it
right.
looks-
Yeah, I'd heard.
It looks significantly better now and runs a lot better as well.
Wow.
There was one thing that I found with the original release was there was not a massive amount, but there was sort of noticeable input lag, which seems to have been fixed now.
Okay.
And also just things look a lot sharper as well. I'm really pleased with it. I mean,
Because they did that with the Xbox One and PS4 versions when it first come out. It come out and it was like the biggest problem with it. It looked half decent, but it was really framey. And I remember, I think it was about a week after launch, they just dropped this massive patch, and it was like, oh my god, this is like really better.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Yeah. So it's good to hear that they've supported it on the Switch. It must have sold enough for them to put the extra effort in to tidy all that stuff up.
Yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. I mean, the only other thing I did was I finished the VR case files for LA Noire, which
You
I was-
hated that, didn't you?
absolutely, by the end, I absolutely hated that game because there's so many things about it which were really fun initially. All the shooting stuff is great. I really enjoyed that. The driving's quite fun as well. But it's just the detective side of it and how sort of hit and miss it feels sometimes. And I mean, part of that is me being stupid and stuff, but there is also just it's not clear.
I was going to say, to
often,
be
like,
fair,
what you're supposed to be doing.
from what I saw of your streams, yeah, it did not seem massively intuitive, and that's such a shame because on paper, that is absolutely a thing I would play, like just a detective game set in the 40s in VR. Like, how could you possibly go wrong? Shame.
I wonder how much of that is though that you were streaming. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
there is
if
that
you
too. Yeah.
like, you're not fully focusing on what's going on and what people are saying because you can't, because constantly you've got James, put the coin up your bum hole. Like, in your ear. It must be like really off-putting and stuff. But yeah, no, did it review well, or were people saying the same thing in reviews?
I don't know. I've not read any reviews.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
should check
it
that out.
felt a bit like it sort of came and went. Really, like nobody really seemed to talk
No one
about it very
spoke
much.
about it, no.
But I don't know. I was kind of glad that I played it, but it's probably been one of the worst experiences I've had, like in terms of like in VR.
It's been great
Like,
for the viewers, though.
It has,
So,
to be fair.
Great.
Thumbs up.
So have you mentioned what you're streaming next?
No, but should I tell you now?
I might as
Or
well.
What do you think?
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, by the
Matt?
time this comes out, it'll be 2 days away, so yeah.
Yeah, why not? Go on. You go for it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stream Blair Witch, which is that one that came out recently. It's like a horror game for
Didn't
Xbox.
get
so I'm
reviewed
gonna play it
well.
on.
Why are you playing this?
Well, it's short, and apparently it's got loads of jump scares and things, and I'm going to switch
that
the
is
lights
good,
off,
yeah.
go for the whole thing. So I think it should be all right. I mean, if apparently it's not great, but I often play games that are not great, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep doing it. It's crazy. Okay, and that's what we've been playing this week. Should we get on to emails?
Aye, go on then. If you want to email us at podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Kurt Lewin says, hi chaps, I was thinking back to demo discs and remembered the disc you got with the PlayStation 2, and I played a lot of the Stuntman demo on that disc and ended up buying the game. I also remember playing a demo for the Getaway Black Monday on a disc I got with an official PS2 magazine. The demo had barriers within the map, but me and my friend managed to glitch through the barrier and have access to the full map of London, which was great, even if it was barren of people and cars, although I didn't end up buying the game. What are some of your favourite game demos, and did it lead you to buying the game?
God, I mean, I think Matt is with me on this when I say fucking loved getting demos on magazines.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was just
I mean,
so good.
I just get so ridiculously excited for like new magazine, like, and I'm hoping that they were maybe out in Dorrit Smith's a day early, and I was obsessed back in those days.
It was an
demos.
amazing time, believe me. I mentioned this on Sound of Play, the episode that I was on, but the Guitaroo Man one really sticks out for this question because I would have never have played this game. I would have seen the box and thought, what the fuck?
Some anime shit.
No interest. But when you get a demo disc, you play every one of those games, like regardless of whether you think it looks good or not. You play every single one of them. And I just remember playing that and going, what the fuck is this? This is really weird. And then it just like eating away at my brain. And then I played the demo over and over and over again. And I went on to buy the full game and it became one of my favourite rhythm action games of all time. So that is, I mean, that was crazy. That is literally just playing that demo and falling in love with it. And the other one, obviously, that springs to mind is the Crackdown one. Do you remember that, James? We spent ages on the demo alone.
Yeah, we did.
And then we were like, we went from... because that was it, because we played the demo, and what the demo did, the demo was really clever, because it let you level up really quickly. Because in that game, it takes a while to level up. So everyone was like saying, oh... Are you getting the game so that you can play the Halo beta?
Yeah.
And we were like, no, we've been playing the demo for fucking ages and it is amazing. So absolutely not. No, we're playing it because we want to play Crackdown. But yeah, no, it was another good one.
I think
Sean, you must have a couple.
I was going to say a big one for me.
Sorry,
James. Big one for me was it Skate 1 or 2? Maybe both had. Yes, there's a demo where it was like, I think it was limited to like 15 minutes or something. But yeah, I didn't give a shit. Just used to play it. 15 minutes has run out. Start it again. Watch all the opening cutscenes again. Play it again. Restart it. Play it again. Restart it. And then people figured out how to glitch out of the demo area and see like most of the town in the game.
Nice.
But obviously, you'd reach a point where like things just weren't textured or modelled properly anymore, and it would stop working. But God, the amount of time I spent on that, and then it was day one purchase, no doubt. Because it's weird how these things can work, isn't it? Like a demo can be so generous that by the end of it, you don't really feel like you need the game. But then it can also be so generous that it's like, mate, I feel like I've already had my 30 quid's worth. Like, please have the money. Yeah. So I think that one was Skate 2.
That was a massive loss for promotion for video games, wasn't it? When demo disc ended, and it was like, because you want to play a demo now, it's because you've heard of the game and you want to try the demo.
Yeah, you still got to actively choose to try it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not just mate, you've basically got it anyway. So
back in the day, you had the disc, and you were just like, oh, there's this game on this disc, so I might as well just boot it out and see what it's like. Like, what a way to promote a game. Like, it was, and it fucking worked way more than just, I'm going to play that game of the demo, that demo of the game that I've already decided that I'm purchasing. It's a totally different ballgame now. Sorry, James. Yeah.
Didn't Microsoft have that with the Xbox 360, didn't they? Where they said, you have to have a demo, like whatever you're releasing on this platform.
Oh, that was the live arcade stuff, wasn't it?
That was the live arcade stuff,
Had to be a trial version of some sort,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it wasn't for every game, though.
Yeah, and I think I think that apparently there are statistics to back up the notion that actually a lot of people would just play the demo, and like that's their curiosity sated, so they'll never buy the game. Which, in the case of especially with like indie games, that tend to be shorter anyway, and or they might just rely on like an interesting or mechanic or a quirk or whatever. So you kind of like you can play a 10-minute demo and be like, oh, okay, I get it. And so the full game might be 10 quid, but it might only be another 2 hours of entertainment. Whereas if you play a demo of, like Call of Duty or whatever, you play a story mission, that was really fun. And if I pay a substantial amount of money, I will get another like 10, 20 hours of it, plus the multiplayer, plus everything else. Like, there's a huge difference in the scale between the demo and the full thing.
There's something really unsettling about them learning that through enforcing it on indie developers. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not so much that. I think it just is worse for indie games or for shorter games than it is for the bigger ones.
The thing I really liked about how Microsoft did it is that when you downloaded the demo, you basically downloaded the entire game, didn't you?
Well, this is it, yeah, because I think this is one of the reasons they don't bother so much now, is I think the way games are built now, you can't just be like, oh, well, just delete 90% of it and then give them what's left. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to, like you say, you're basically downloading the whole thing, but with, like, artificial barriers put in place.
Because I think I played, was it like Wolfenstein, was it New Colossus or whatever the big Wolfenstein was a few years ago, and basically I got to the end of the demo. It's like, do you want to pay 20 quid and unlock it like instantly? And I'm like,
because you've already downloaded it.
It's like, I wouldn't have to download it or anything. It's just like, if you press a button now, you pay the money and you can keep playing the game. Like that's such a good tactic. That worked for me. Like you were saying, Dave, like, you know, demos were so good because you were given them, and then rather than these days we have to go out and seek them. What would you feel like if Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo said, you know, there's like a monthly sort of demo that basically gets a demo disc or whatever they want to call it that automatically gets downloaded to a console rather than you having to go seek them out? Like,
I just don't. I think that
way
time...
around it. A lot of people say, well, you know, like, this is like the U2 album going on my iPod again, like taking out my storage and I don't want it. But like that'd be a way of just saying, like, here we go. It's like you'll get a 5 demo disc every month, and then it's up to you to, you know.
I think with the volume of like free and inverted commas games that there are nowadays, it's like I just don't think people would care anymore.
Yeah, because there's no struggle for
moved away from it.
Yeah, there's no struggle for new stuff, because obviously we're talking about, you know, back in the day where we might only be able to afford, like, you know, one game every few months or whatever. So to be able to get a demo disc with like 5 demos on it, holy fuck, it's a load of new shit to try out. Whereas I'd love them to just try that though. Say like Spotlight, Microsoft Spotlight. This month, like, if you sign up to Microsoft Spotlight, it's completely free.
Or if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, you basically get a monthly demo thing.
You don't even need to do that, like, because it's promotion, isn't it? So you just say, like, it's just a tab on your Xbox, or, you know, if Sony did it, your PlayStation. There's just like a tick box saying, if you're happy to receive this, we will automatically download, say, 5 demos a month onto your thing, and you can just try them out. That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I love that.
The thing with Microsoft though is, in terms of getting people to play things they might not have otherwise checked out, they've already got Game Pass doing that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's kind of how, you know, with like you say, if you get the app and stuff, and you can just be like, yeah, every couple of days, it's like, guess what? These 3 games have dropped, and it's like, oh shit, and you know, and you just set the download from your phone, and then that's that. And
I guess.
I don't know if any of you've listened to it yet. I mentioned on WhatsApp, so the new episode of Game Maker's Notebook is a podcast by, I forget his name, it's a guy from Insomniac, just interviews people from the games industry, and he's done an episode with Phil Spencer. I was really pleasantly surprised by it. No, I've never had anything against Phil Spencer. It's just I was just surprised by how warm, I'm going to say, he is, and like how he just genuinely seems to really give a shit about games. But he talks a lot.
Yeah, he seems like a really genuine dude.
Yeah,
that's really interesting, because you don't listen to the Giant Bomb E3 coverage shows.
No,
do you?
is he on them?
Because he's on them every year.
Okay.
And yeah, he's exactly like that. I think that's why Matt and I have always been like really, I don't know, not supportive of him, but we've always liked him, haven't we, really? And I think it's because the way it comes across.
Yeah, he just seems like a genuine lover of games.
Well, he's like the opposite of Don Matrick, isn't he?
He really is.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he just talks a bit about how what they're finding with Game Pass is that people are playing like a way broader range of stuff than they normally would, and that's good. That's really interesting.
In terms of demos, I mean, when you say favourite demos, the first one that springs out to mind is definitely Tony Hawk demo.
Oh God,
the first one. Yeah, I think it's like the warehouse thing. I played it on, I guess, Dreamcast back in the day. And I think it must have been. And me and my mate Peter just like hammered that just constantly, that one demo. I think that might have been timed as well.
Yeah, it was, but it was like
the main
we all played it so much that we got like all 5 objectives nailed in a single, like, 90-second run or whatever it was.
That was just an incredible demo. Just absolutely hammered it all the time.
See, I just remember playing loads of PC demos, like back when you
like
could buy like
shareware.
PC format,
Shareware
stuff
stuff.
like that. Yeah, I remember like Ultimate Soccer Manager. I played the demo of that for ages, and I think you could only select Brighton and Hove Albion. I think
Jesus.
like players, and there was no other options. But it was good. But there was also I just remember the other one that was a big one was. Do you remember when they did Metal Gear Solid 2?
God, yeah.
And
that was a great demo.
tanker.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic demo.
man.
That. Yeah, because it had all loads of hidden shit in it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you would just repeatedly go through that. But then what was annoying is that when you got the full game, you were like, I know
do this again.
I know this like the back of my hand now.
Yeah. I mean, I've mentioned this, like the demo for the first one.
Yeah.
Was stunning.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, good times.
I didn't have a PlayStation.
I remember watching
did I?
it and being and like several minutes in being like, why is it just people talking? Why aren't I doing anything? What's going on? But yeah.
Let me shoot someone. All right, next question.
Rafi says, salutations, gentlemen. I recently hit the affiliate milestone on Twitch. A small milestone for many, but I'm really proud of hitting it in just 3 weeks across just a few streams. I wanted to try and do something ridiculous on Twitch. The best stroke stupidest idea I had was to stick one of my hands up the arse of a giant purple monster. He means a puppet. Took me a minute. While my other hand was used exclusively to play games. I think this kind of gives me a reason for people to watch, but I still have a lot of work to do. What I want to ask is if each of you had any tips that you would like to give to help any new streamers.
2 puppets.
2 puppets, no games, just a puppet show.
2 puppets and just like use your nose for the mouse, doesn't it?
I'm terrible at streaming. Don't worry about any advice that I've got. I've got no advice. I'm not good at streaming. So yeah, I wouldn't listen to me.
I mean, Matt and I really enjoy tinkering with like the layouts and making everything look cool and interesting. But you see so many like massively successful people who just don't give a shit about that stuff. So like, do that stuff if you enjoy it, but don't worry about it if it doesn't look super professional, because it doesn't stop other people. I mean, in general, like obviously we're not massive on Twitch, but like
No.
But I think it's just making sure you're engaging with people, right? Like even if there's only like 5 people watching or whatever, it's fucking chat to them. Like it's never like the worry. Certainly when we first started, for me was just like, oh, but what if only 2 people show up? It's like 2 people is enough to have a conversation with. Like, don't
definitely.
worry. Like, unless there's literally no one there. I mean, even if there isn't anyone there, just fucking carry on anyway. Do it for your own amusement. As same as we always say about podcasting. Like, if you're doing it for your own, like because you enjoy doing it, then people can tell and it helps.
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely like tinkering as Sean said, to make it look professional as possible. But then James doesn't. His streams are amazing.
Yeah,
It's not about that at all.
Yeah,
it's just about well, in James's case, just doing mad funny stuff. So just
Not
have
even
fun.
mad funny stuff. All he's got to do is just like be him. What was the phrase that you said in the? Was that? Fruity Fizz or what? What? It still comes up. It was when I think it was in Heavy Rain or something.
No, it was in Beyond Two Souls.
Oh, Beyond Two Souls, and he walked past the vending machine, and it just said Fruity Fizz on it, and it's just James going, Fruity Fizz. Like that was it, and I just remember laughing for about half an hour. It was really good.
Cool.
James, what are your tips?
Well, I don't know. See, I haven't got anything much apart from just at least like find games that you feel that you can engage with.
Yeah.
Like the audience is really important, but it's
Fuck off,
also
James.
No, it's true. You have
The
to
games
choose
you
stuff
streamed.
No, but exactly. But there's something there that you can like react to, if you see what I mean. Like something that you can like get into with it, and that's why I've gone for the ones I've gone for so far. Is that there is? I mean, like with Blair Witch, I know that maybe it's not a great game, but there's probably going to be something there I can work with. Whereas it's like you can't. If I was to, I wouldn't stream something like FIFA. Like Sean did an amazing job at that because he hadn't done it before. No, because you'd not played it before, so you got like the whole. Whereas I wouldn't sit there and do that because I've played it for like hours and hours and hours.
Well, that stream worked with Sean because he did the story mode, didn't he? If he was just playing FIFA, it just would be shit.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were like experiencing the story and stuff like that, it was that was a great stream.
So you got to find like the hook or whatever it is that of the game that you're playing, to try and get into it. I think
picking games isn't always easy. Like when I was doing Played by the Bell and was like, trying to pick something different every week, there were just weeks where I was just like, this isn't working. It just doesn't work. And it wasn't even that the game was bad. It just, I don't know, just wasn't necessarily a lot to talk about. Or, if the game was like a bit too intense, you can't really chat while you're playing it.
Yeah, it's a fine balance between being able to chat and also enjoy the game.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I mean, congratulations on getting the affiliate milestone, man. Because most people, like, you've only done that in a couple of weeks. Like, it's
you're doing something
right.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's so many people I know who are like perfectly nice and entertaining people, like stream fairly regularly, and they'll get like 2 or 3 people watching, and like it is so hard just to get that initial momentum. So
it took us way longer than that to get affiliate. So yeah, well done.
Yeah. Right, Luke Watts says, hello lads, on the 20th of March I'll be buying 2 games on release at the same time, probably for the first time ever. Doom Eternal for myself and Animal Crossing for my wife, although I probably will also give it a try at some point. The most frantic, violent game of all time, and the most relaxing, wholesome game of all time. After a few hours of demon smashing, I can't think of a better wind down than 30 minutes of fishing and bug collecting. Can you think of another gaming pairing that are so totally different but also might go well as a nice main course and dessert?
So I'm trying to think of games that I've played recently that, I mean, I always, so, I mean, Disco Elysium and followed up by a couple of games of Rocket League before bed. That has happened a lot recently, and that's because you're like this real deep story. It's very, self-loathing, and it really grinds you down. But also, there are some funny moments in it and stuff. But and then I turn that off and put on my little car game where I'm flying with rocket boosters to try and put the ball in the goal. It's like, it's a bit that I think. That's fucked with my head a few times. But I do feel like I need that. I can't imagine playing Disco Elysium for like 3 hours straight and then going to bed. It would just be horrible. That would be horrible. Do you not think?
I know what you mean. Certainly, as I've said, like when I was playing Disco Elysium, it was like I couldn't think about much else. Like even like sitting around in work, just being like, I don't give a fuck about anything, like any of this. I need to get back to fucking Martinez.
I mean, when I was playing the game, I sort of didn't want to like play other things because I just wanted to like be in that world,
sort of be absorbed in it.
I felt the same.
Deep into it. Like if I could play another game, like as a palate cleanser or something to calm me down, but it was such an emotional sort of atmospheric game. I love being part of that.
But I suppose the thing is that I'm not getting into another world, am I, with Rocket League? It's not like I'm going from story to story. It's, when I play Rocket League, you're barely thinking. You're just reacting.
Yeah, you're not going
shit.
from one world to another.
It feels like a completely different thing.
Yeah,
no, because that would be that would do me in a little bit. But it's just like when I'm done with that, I kind of feel really low. So I'll stick Rocket League on, hopefully win a couple of games, and then perk me up a little bit before bed. It's I mean,
in terms of, because I think all my examples are games that came out on the same day as with Doom and Animal Crossing. So I mentioned the other week, obviously when Mass Effect and Mario Galaxy came out same day, that was incredible. Because again, like you say, Mass Effect, bit intense. Or I've had to make a decision where some people died. Let's go jumping around in low gravity and be Mario for a bit. That'll help. And I think another big one was when Fable 2 and Far Cry 2 came out at the same time as well. Because Far
they did, didn't they?
Yeah, Far Cry 2 is fucking intense. So so to be able to just like punch out of that and just go prancing around Fantasyland.
Go into, hello, little bobbly bob, little bobbly bob. Do you want to do your little spell down the goobly.
Yes, that was
the British charm.
It's got Stephen Fry in it. Look, but that was perfect. Anyone else, or is that?
I mean, I play when I streamed Resident Evil 2 last year. I was also on the Switch playing My Time at Portia, which is a similar-ish game, but that was definitely a nice calming down thing after the hell of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
but again, it's not a game where it's like. I mean, it's not too similar to games like Stardew and Animal Crossing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it as like games where you just do a bit of fishing or weeding.
Yeah, totally.
Big fan.
James?
I've got nothing else. I mean,
Cool.
I just play. Yeah, go on.
All right.
You tried.
I did, yeah.
Ah, fuck it.
Right, Maria Mendieth says, playing through Just Cause 3 over the last few days, I was wondering whether there was a mechanic like the versatile grappling hook that you wish more games would incorporate.
Destructibility?
Yeah,
It's not
God.
really a mechanic.
Red Faction Guerrilla did that,
Yeah.
and it was incredible. And everyone, oh my God, this is how all games are going to be made from now on. And
I'll tell you what. I started playing. What's it called? Rainbow Six Siege again last weekend.
Oh, so did I. I played that this week.
I kind of want to get back
Do you
into
know-
that because they said they're going to be their day one on the new consoles. I'm like,
It's a
kind of
joke.
wanna-
It's a joke how good that game is
But
still.
the destructible walls and all that. It's so, and
it's
also
class,
the
isn't it?
floor. Like I was just shocked. Like you could just smash through the floor, and then shooting people down below and all that. That stuff's great.
What's incredible about that game is that there's so many new characters and so many people are using them, but so many people are still using the first characters as well. It just shows how well balanced it is. I mean, there's loads of shit going on in that game that I didn't understand. Chet had to turn around and go, oh no, that's such and such, she's doing this, which means you have to do this, and she now knows where you are, but then if you don't move then you can get away with it, all that sort of stuff. But what a game. Like I went back to it this week as well, James, and fucking superb, isn't it? Yeah, it's totally excellent. I'll send you one of my kills that I did in the week. I was well proud of it. Glaz is me boy. You want to get back into that, Matt?
Well,
Fucking turn your Xbox on, lid. We're all over it at the moment.
I think they announced there'll be a day one. I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but I was like, oh man, we used to play loads of Siege and it was so bloody good. Yeah.
You need to get on it. You need to get on
Do you know
it. You
what
didn't
else?
play it that much.
I can't believe no one has nicked the second wind thing in Borderlands, where if you get killed, you're sort of on your knees, and then you can still shoot and reload. You can't really move, and if you can kill an enemy doing that, you get back up and you're healed.
That's a great mechanic.
It's so good. I can't believe no one's taken
Gears
that.
do that.
Oh, did it? I
No,
thought you'd
maybe
have to
it
get a mate
didn't.
to help you up or something, or I can't remember.
There is a game that you can do that. Oh, I can't try to remember what it was because I haven't played a Borderlands game, but
you definitely.
there is a game where you're crawling back and you're just shooting with a pistol.
No.
Is it
Was
Minesweeper?
that Left 4 Dead?
Maybe, but still, you had
When
to
you get downed in Left 4 Dead, you only got a pistol, didn't you? That's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
but you still had to get someone else to help you up, didn't you? I think.
You did,
Yeah.
You couldn't just help yourself up by killing something.
Yeah.
But that's great. You're right. I'm surprised more games don't do
I
that.
can't believe more people haven't. We thought everyone's going to steal the mechanic, like the Nemesis system from that Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, there must be some heavy
Patented.
ownership.
This will be in every game. It's a great system. I mean,
Nope. It was in its own sequel, and they put loot boxes in it, so no one played it. Brilliant. Right, last email. Chris Bush says, as a 40-something dad, I don't really go in for hard games these days, as I think I'd struggle to find the time to really master them. However, Matt's dedication to completing Sekiro has finally motivated me to give this type of game a go, and I've just ordered Dark Souls. Is this the best place to start, and do you have any advice for someone playing this game for the first time?
Yeah,
I think that
it's
is the
a
best
great
place to start.
Yeah.
It's a great place to
It is,
start.
totally.
Advice, I mean,
advice, ignore all the people who say, actually, it's not that hard. Fucking is. It's just that we've all learned it inside out because we were all obsessed about it for years.
do you know what? I've got some advice, and it's not gameplay related. It's not going to help you beat the game. But download the series podcast Bonfire Side Chat.
Yeah.
And the way to do it is to complete an area and listen to a podcast about that area. Because what's so incredible about Dark Souls is not only the gameplay and everything, but also the lore that's hidden away and you'll never see unless you do your research. And I found that to be a very enjoyable way of playing that game because you play that they're very cautious with what they talk about as to not spoil, just in case you are playing along with their podcast. So that's pretty good. But also they go into characters and you're like, oh yeah, that character. And then suddenly you're interested in the world. It's really handy. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way of playing it. But in terms of actually playing the game, really, I would say just do what feels right to you. Don't give up because you can do that too easily. And yeah, I would say the best way is to ask people that have played it. Talk to them. Like, don't look up guides or anything like that. Just talk to the people that have played and completed it, and they will help you through it, for sure.
Unless you're going to start with a guide, like, you will make bad decisions about equipment and upgrading and stuff, but don't worry about it too much. Like, most of the materials become pretty disposable towards the end of the game anyway, when that stuff really matters. I mean, it is a very, by design, it's a very opaque game. It doesn't explain itself very well, but that's the point. So if you are feeling a bit confused, just kind of go with it, because that's the tone. You're playing as someone who keeps dying repeatedly and is probably losing their mind. So the fact that it all feels a bit hopeless and confusing is absolutely by design. Sorry, Matt, you were going to...
No, it's an all-time classic. Yeah, just stick with it. If I go through it, anyone can. But it's fantastic.
Yeah,
but it's a lot to get your head around. It feels very alien and unfair. But it changes. It basically it forces you to change the way you think about how you try to complete or try to get through a game. The game's not going to help you. The game's got its own set of rules, and it's up to you to learn them and then act accordingly.
Yeah. It's like, because we're so used to games where it's like, if you see a massive dragon or 4 people attack you at the same time, you think, oh well, there'll be a QTE, or there'll be some reason that I don't get killed instantly, because who would do that in a game? Dark Souls would. It just doesn't give a shit. And once you just get your head around that, like, oh, there's a huge dragon over there, if I approach it, it's probably going to kill me. Like, yeah, probably is. Like, don't just assume that there'll be a fair way out, I guess. But equally, like, if things seem like legitimately impossible, it's not. None of it is. Like, and you'll find a rhythm with it eventually, that you can be halfway through the game and you can just be like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this boss? It's ridiculous. It's impossible. I can't do it. And then you remember that you've already felt like that 5 or 6 times, and you got through it anyway.
Yep.
And it just becomes this series of seemingly impossible things that you conquer, and you get over it, and it's a cool feeling.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Find a mate, talk to them about it. Okay, is that it, right? Should we get on to tweets?
Yep, let's go on tweets. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter if you want to tweet us. We'll start League Rigs. What is the most atmospheric game you have played?
Oh, God.
We've mentioned Disco Elysium.
We have.
Super Metroid.
Super Metroid, yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Yakuza 0. Love that.
I mean, when people say atmospheric, you instantly think of sort of darker games, right?
It does tend to be that way,
like oppressive, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, Breath of the Wild was like a world where I felt sick with excitement. Yeah. I've mentioned it before, where just thinking about walking around that world just made me feel sick. There was a feeling around it. I was so fucking happy about playing that game. Yeah. So excited about looking at what's around the next corner. Yeah. That is a different type of atmospheric, but that nails it for me.
That's not really a similar vein, but Wonder Song. The atmosphere or tone of that is just so fucking strong. It's unbelievable. Like, it's such a hopeful game, and you do not see many of those. But yeah, it really works. Did I say Hollow Knight? And again, it's a dark one. I think a lot of Metroidvanias really thrive on that stuff. That sort of we were saying, like, the isolation and the sort of that sense of just getting like utterly fucking lost, but then slowly getting mastery over the environments and the enemies and stuff, and going through that process.
It's like Axiom Verge as well.
Yes,
that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For me, it's games like Limbo and Inside. I think
Inside.
I love both of them. I think Inside has the better atmosphere. It's just rapturing, isn't it?
For sure.
You just say, like, what 100%. The hell is this? And yeah, that's incredible atmosphere wise.
Yeah.
Half-Life 2, of course. That felt like nothing else.
Yeah, so many bits in that where you just, especially like the whole sequence where you have the car and you're covering massive distances, but then you'll see a house and be like, I'm just going to go and stop there. And you'll just be like stood on a cliff and listening to the wind and looking around, and you're like, man, this is fucking real.
Yeah. Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, also incredible games for atmosphere. Probably Eco more than Shadow of the Colossus, right? Just walking around that. Like, I mean, Shadow of the Colossus was incredible for atmosphere, but walking around that castle,
Yeah.
the footsteps, the feeding, the uneasiness of it all.
I mean, back then, there was nothing else like it, was there?
No,
just-
absolutely not. Yeah, it was fucking mad.
Cool. Steve Donald.
Stick that on the box. Fucking mad.
Fucking mad. Steve Donald. Hi guys. When can we expect Rise of Skywalker on Star Calls?
Oh shit, we need to do that. I think the main reason is that I really want to go into it, and it feels like I've only seen it once, so and I want to write a lot of notes, like as though we did like we did with the Star Call film. So it'll probably be when a DVD comes out now.
That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, when the Blu-ray comes out, whatever, it'd be good. It'd be good to go through it again.
Dave's watching on DVD.
I was going to say, yes.
Yeah, I love a DVD.
If you can even see the characters, bruv.
Love a DVD.
Love a DVD. MD Krabuffs, what's your fast food horror story? Or when has a game made you hungry?
Monster Hunter, when you're out just like barbecuing ribs. Out
The
in
food
the
in
wild.
Monster Hunter looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As well. Oh.
Pikmin 3, the fucking fruit in that makes me want to eat fruit, and I'm not a big fan of fruit, but fuck me, did that look good in that game. Yeah,
absolutely.
Wasn't there a Pikmin game coming to Switch at some point?
I don't know.
There's always been rumours. There's been lots
Yeah.
of rumours about it, but it's
Pikmin 3 was really good,
man.
and the fucking fruit in that, unbelievable. Ooh, nice bit of fucking strawberry.
Was it like okay? It's in Mario Odyssey. Is it like it's not a sweetie or like? Well, no, is it Luncheon Kingdom?
Yeah,
I remember that looking.
a big steak.
Yeah, well, looking like everything could be good enough to eat. And, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. It was all about that steak on that big plate of salt. It's like, yeah, I'm up for that. But then you went in the brew, and it was like, nah.
I need to go back to Mario Odyssey because I loved it at the time, but nowhere near as much as everyone else seemed to. And I just, it's because Andy Kelly of PC Gamers like bought a Switch and he's been playing everything. He's just like, Mario Odyssey's fucking amazing. I'm like,
It really
yeah.
is.
I'm just like,
How
what was
far
wrong
into
with
it
me?
did you
So I'm just going to go back. I think.
Yeah, fuck yeah. How did you get to 500 Moon Challenge?
I did.
Oh,
got
mate.
like the first ending and then.
Well, the good thing about that game, right, is that you can go back to your save file and just continue then. Because you don't need to do all that story stuff. It's piss easy. You've probably got loads of the easy moons. It's fine.
Yeah.
But there's so much more there. Just go in and out of the different worlds and
Well,
stuff.
that was the one thing I did really love about it was just the sheer fucking density of it. Like you can run through a world and be like, oh, seemed fairly short, but then you're like, oh no, actually, there's like so many stars just tucked away in the weirdest places. That, yeah.
I probably play it once a month at this point, and as you know, the famous story goes, my son deleted my save where I had every single moon. But now it means that when I do load it up once a month, I've still got moons to collect. So I go back and just do a few moons at a time now, and it's yeah.
I probably need to rob that again and do the 500 Moon Challenge on stream because that's apparently still on my plate.
Still on your
Even
plate.
though I did a legitimate backflip, and I didn't. Glitch.
You don't own it anymore. You'd have to buy it again. Just
That's what I said. I have to buy it. Yeah.
Shit.
I still don't get that. It's just one of those games I just could never sell because it's just.
I needed the money, so that's what I did. That's what I've always done.
I got fucking uncut gems over it.
This is the one I win. Okay, that was not even a quote. Joseph King, you're in post at Sega as head of department responsible for launching their brand new console in 2020. What's the USP you're going to promote it to make it successful, and what launch lineup are you going to go with to generate sales?
4 words. Phantasy Star Online 3.
Oh, come on. That ain't going to sell the thing,
I'll
is it? It's what
buy
you
it.
want, but
I
it's
don't
not
give
going
a
to
shit.
sell the thing.
You do what you want. I'm buying it.
I mean, what do they have? I would probably...
What do they have? Is that true?
All right, man, you're all right.
They've got Rocket Knight Adventures, Bobsy the Bobcat, all the...
Choo Choo Rocket.
Oh, Choo Choo Rocket's gone to... They've defected to Apple, mate. That's...
They have.
Yeah.
What? Go on, Matt. Go on. You answer this question.
Okay, brand new open world Sonic game. That's that.
Sonic
nailed.
Utopia, yeah.
Yeah, new Sega Rally.
Is it
I was going to say Sega Rally. I'd be well up for a new Sega Rally because
brand new
those
Sega Rally,
those sumo
obviously.
ones are
Sega Rally's a good one, but like
So
I mean,
you're just repeating the Dreamcast launch lineup.
Exactly,
okay,
mate.
but a new Burning Rangers because I came out on Saturn and sort of got forgotten about. That'd be brilliant.
Virtual Fighter game would actually get a little bit
brand
of
new
like
Virtua
people
Fighter,
crying
a new
out for that.
Daytona game, a new Scud Race sequel.
Yes, mate.
But
I
this
mean-
is it. You could say that, but these are just old
Just
games
things that we
they've
want.
had.
Yeah, but
Like nothing's happened recently with any of this shit.
a new Golden Axe.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, the stuff that Sega does that makes like lots of money is things like they own like Football Managers,
Yeah.
don't they? As
Yeah,
well. It's just things like that, isn't it? That
Yeah, but I don't
make
care
them a lot
about
of
that.
cash and-
This is like a fancy lineup. I want all the racing games like sequel to
All the
Outrun.
Virtuas. All the Virtuas. Get all the Virtuas on
Virtua
there.
Fire. I want Fighters Mega Mix 2. I want that on there.
Yeah.
I want Touring
I'm down with
Car
that.
2. I want Scud
Virtua
Race 2. Max DT 2.
Oh God,
What
Master
has-
T.
What has happened to Virtua Fighter though? Like
Nothing.
It's just
I want
disappeared.
a new House of the Dead. Bring that. But I mean, there's a new arcade game.
Matt just brushing partial question there, James, without an answer.
I wonder what the
Yeah,
I wonder
but-
what the deal is with Virtua Fighter because obviously fighting games have had quite a renaissance the last sort of 10 years. I've just googled Virtua Fighter and one of the first results is a video called Virtua Fighter What the Hell Happened. So there you go. God, yes, the last
Yeah.
one was it was 5 Final Showdown in 2012. Wow.
Well, we got our
I mean-
predictions for E3 coming up, so you never know. You
I mean,
never know.
I just
Stick it
think
on the
that
list.
there's so much potential. That I mean, a new Monkey Ball game.
I don't think there is much potential. I think there was a lot of
All of them
potential. If
being-
you look back
being
at their back
exclusives.
catalogue, yeah, I know, but I mean, when was it? A Monkey Ball? Yeah, a new Monkey Ball game, yeah. But they did a lot of new Monkey Ball games and they were shit.
Yeah, no one cared. Yeah.
And it's like, even all the games we've been listing, even the ones that are that do hold up, still pretty niche in the grand scheme of things. None of them are like
But still pretty niche, and a lot
That's
of
the
them had
problem.
sequels that didn't do well.
These are all good games, but these are all reasons why Sega went software
Yeah.
only.
yeah.
It's there's nothing there that is like really like would push something. I don't
Not
think.
system sellers, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you. I'm a big excited for a new. Oh, imagine that. Anyway, it's probably, we're past it now. We're past it.
Okay. Should we do one more? Because it's really late now.
Is it? Okay, yeah, it is, I guess.
Yeah, it
okay,
is.
right.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we'll make a quick one. Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Is it?
It's late. It's late.
TCGS fans on Twitter. I've got a few games left on my list. I get it, Matt. So pick what I should buy next: Death Stranding, Days Gone, or Near Automata.
Ooh, I mean, I'm going to say
Well,
Nier. 'cause-
Nier is the one that I've heard the most praise
Yeah,
about
God.
out of all of them.
I've not played it, but I have played Death Stranding and Days Gone, and I'd struggle to recommend either of those. Like, to be honest,
You like Days Gone more than
Yeah.
Death Stranding, though, didn't you, James?
I did. I definitely like Days Gone more than Death Stranding, which was also right. But yeah, I'd probably go for Neil Automata on Sean's recommendation.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Death Stranding, thought it was good but stopped. Days Gone I enjoyed but stopped, and I haven't played Near, so let's go Near.
There you go. Nier's got the potential to be amazing. It's a very weird game, but very, very, very interesting. I like it an awful lot.
Near it is.
Cool.
Cool, and that's the end of the show. Matt, I suppose you've got to tell people that if they've got Amazon Prime, then they've also got Twitch Prime.
They've
and I
what?
would really appreciate
This is
them subscribing. Go on.
Oh yeah, and also James is starting Blair Witch on Friday at 9. That's gonna be good. I hope the jump scares are even bigger than Until Dawn.
Where he literally fell off his chair a couple of times. Not literally, but you know,
Metaphorically.
almost.
So yeah, James is starting Blair Witch Friday at 9 on our Twitch channel. I'm back doing more Super Metroid Sunday at 8:30 on Twitch. Amazon Prime, as Dave just said. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. We've got computergameshow.com for everything else. And we're at Res, of course, on the 28th of March. Dave was the 26th, and now he's busy. But yeah, it was the 28th of March. Doing a live show, the Golden Age of TCGS Live. Come and watch us; it'll be fun.
I'm sorry.
In Blair Witch, is the Blair Witch the final boss?
Maybe you are the Blair
We're going
Witch.
to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out on Friday.
You are Blair the Witch, and then it's a platformer.
Okay, Roll, thanks for living it. We will catch you next week. We hope you have a wonderful week. And enjoy those video games, eh?
They are good.
Enjoy them.
They are good.
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Some of them not so much.
Some of them are fucking awful to be. Some of them are offensive.
They are.
Actually offensive now. You go back and goodbye.
It's March now. So some are coming out, aren't they now? Because it's March.
Yeah, there's games coming out.
Oh, can we just... Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm going to bed. Bye.